Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for an unprecedented cinematic experience. Welcome to the ultimate 5 nights at Freddy's behind-the-scenes mega-documentary. I'm your host, Aiden, the self-proclaimed Sultan of SLUURP, and I couldn't be more thrilled to take you on this extraordinary journey. But first, let me introduce you to someone you may be familiar with.
Hey, that's right folks. For the last 8 months, me and Aiden have had the privilege of hosting the behind-the-scenes series on the SLUURP YouTube channel. Today, in this remastered compilation, we've carefully curated every single frickin' episode of our behind-the-scenes series. Kicking things off with the mesmerising pre-production phase of the movie and riding the roller coaster all the way to the final week before the movie's release.
That's right, Connor. Throughout this compilation, we've revisited and revitalized our earlier episodes to ensure that only the most accurate and up-to-date news stories are included. Our aim is to provide you with a concise and seamless way to follow the full pre-production and main production of the 5 nights at Freddy's movie.
So grab your all-time favourite snack and set the mood with those dim lights and gear up for an unforgettable trip down memory lane, because this is the full and complete behind-the-scenes story of the 5 nights of Freddy's movie.
Excited about 5 Nights at Freddy's, but I'm really excited about that. I've been working with Scott Cawthorn on trying to turn that into a movie. I'm really pleased about that. That game has a rabid fan base, and I would say without Scott, it wouldn't make a good movie. But I think Scott has a very clear idea of what he wants the movie to be. Because we're using the same creator as the game in Scott, I think there'll be a great movie in it. And I think if it weren't for that, I'd be skeptical about a 5 Nights movie.
The 5 Nights at Freddy's movie is currently being produced using the working title Bad Cupcake. It is worth noting that the working title has very little or nothing to do with the plot. In film, some working titles are applied to help protect the film's production. Working titles are used to enhance secrecy around the project. With intense competition in the world of film, these strategies, sometimes called title ruses, can help to prevent the leaking of aspects or elements of a film before its intended debut. But that hasn't stopped one YouTuber who goes by the username NighterDaNight. The YouTuber revealed that a set for the upcoming movie Bad Cupcake was built close to where they live. The leak gives us our first look at the construction of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. This location will likely become one of the single most iconic and important spots in the movie. That's not the only behind-the-scenes leak we've got that spotlights Freddy Fazbear. In a since-deleted post, the company that was working on the pizzeria's board leaked the sign that would be appearing in the movie. Produced by Signworks LLC, the behind-the-scenes video truly shows the work that went into creating this beautiful sign. We're definitely getting massive Chuck E. Cheese vibes here. One thing that is particularly noteworthy is the fact that Freddy is depicted wearing gloves in this sign, which would be a new aesthetical choice for the character. But honestly, we are not opposed to it. It definitely cements Freddy alongside other childhood icons like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. Away from the sets and locations, we've also had a barrage of casting announcements for the FNAF movie. Matthew Lillard, who has starred in everything from Scooby-Doo to Twin Peaks, is confirmed to appear in the feature. Lillard is confirmed to be playing William Afton, who serves as the main antagonist of the franchise. Afton also somehow manages to constantly cheat death and come back over and over again. Elsewhere, Josh Hutcherson, known for his role in the Hunger Games, has been cast in a leading role. Hutcherson will play Mike Schmidt, the security guard who serves as the playable character in 5 Nights at Freddy's. While casting for the movie, Blumhouse provided a detailed description of the character and his connection to the movie's overall plot. Riddled with guilt over a tragedy in his past and now struggling to take care of his younger sister on his own, Mike is low on options when he lands a new job to pay the bills, the night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Mike is vulnerable with a tough exterior. Though he means well, his obsession with digging for the truth may have potentially disastrous consequences. The other notable casting name is Grant Feely, who seems to be having a ton of fun on the set of the movie. The Obi-Wan star, last seen playing little Luke Skywalker, has been cast in a supporting role. While unconfirmed, fans have heavily speculated that he will be playing Fretz, one of the missing children who are kidnapped from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. David Huston has also posted a picture to Instagram that depicts the rest of his young supporting cast. It's heavily speculated that all of these children will play missing children whose souls eventually become intertwined with the animatronic crew. Let's start our behind-the-scenes coverage with an update regarding Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza Place. And now we've been given our first look at the completed pizzeria. These images come courtesy of our source, who will remain anonymous. The images give us our first real look at the practical version of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, even if it's only the front of the store. We can see from these images that the store is in fact backless. The set is in Louisiana and was built on the lot of an old hospital that was destroyed during Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Our sources explain that security has been tightening on the production. They said security is starting to get a little testy. There are a few people who have been trying to stop for photos, but security doesn't like anyone sitting around nearby. They went on to say they have state police and police security cameras set up around the area. It looks like Blumhouse is doing all it can to deter leaks and set photos, but alas, when producing such an anticipated movie, these kinds of leaks are inevitable. Elsewhere, we got our first look at movie star Josh Hutcherson in action. The video that surfaced shows Hutcherson filming a fight scene in a mall's water fountain. It's unclear what set Mike off in this situation, but if we had to speculate, we'd guess that someone brought up the bite of 83 while he was working, which causes Mike to flip. Perhaps then he gets fired and finds a job at Freddy's. But that's just a theory. You know the rest. Before we give you your first look at the animatronic Freddy that will be used in the movie, we want to briefly touch on some new casting news. It was announced this week that Christian Stokes will be joining the cast of the FNAF movie. According to IMDb, Stokes' character will be called Hank. Hank is a nickname for Henry, so there is some speculation that he'll be playing that character in the movie. But at the moment, that is just speculation. This week's biggest behind-the-scenes leak has to be the reveal of one of the animatronic costumes. The admittedly blurry image gives us our first look at none other than Freddy Fazbear himself. The animatronic mascot can be seen alongside crew members outside of the pizza place set. The first takeaway is that the animatronic won't have gloves like previously depicted on the sign of Pizza Place. Secondly, and strangely, the scene being filmed appears to be both outside and at nighttime, which could suggest that the animatronics are uncharacteristically going to leave the pizzeria at some point in the movie. After all, we have to remember that the set itself is a hollow facade. If the filmmakers brought the animatronic here, it is definitely for exterior shots. Of course, there is always the possibility that the team has Freddy on location for some press and marketing materials, such as a teaser poster. Let's start this week's behind-the-scenes coverage with an update regarding the FNAF movie's age rating. For what feels like years, Five Nights at Freddy's fans have discussed, debated, and generally weighed in with their opinion on what age rating certificate Blumhouse should aim for with the FNAF movie. A large section of the fandom is dead set on an R rating, as they feel the movie must include excess blood and gore to truly represent the dark and twisted horror franchise. Whereas others have argued that an R rating would alienate a large portion of the fandom under the age of 18. Early this week, newly cast actor Michael P. Sullivan was asked by a fan whether or not the film would be rated R. He replied by saying, "Not sure yet, but I think so." This certainly isn't the concrete confirmation many fans will be looking for. Nevertheless, it certainly is a feather for that side of the fandom's hat. Now it's time to shift gears to a story that has floated around the FNAF community for years. This week, Markiplier finally commented on his involvement in the movie. For those who are unfamiliar or even new to the FNAF community, Markiplier's influence on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise cannot be understated. Mark is sometimes referred to by his self-stylized title as the King of Five Nights at Freddy's by his and the game's fanbase due to his perseverance and strive to 100% each title in the main series. You could quite easily suggest that this franchise wouldn't be as big as it is today without Markiplier's gameplay videos. This week, Markiplier sat down with Variety to discuss his current and upcoming projects. When asked about his possible participation in the FNAF movie, Markiplier had a bit of a confusing reply. Everyone wants to know there was a lot of confusion. Yeah, I can't say anything particular about that. There was a lot of scheduling conflict, and I can't say anything. Before we get to our biggest news story of the week, we wanted to bring you up to speed with all of the latest casting announcements for the movie. Spoiler alert, there has been a lot. First up, we have the previously mentioned Michael P. Sullivan. He confirmed his involvement in the project through a Facebook post. He also confirmed that his character is completely original and does not appear anywhere else in the franchise. Next up, we have the casting of actress Bailey Winston, who has been cast as a character known as Kim. This seems to be an original character created for the movie. We then have Tadase Young, who is set to play Dr. Lillian. This casting pairs nicely with another casting announcement. We knew that Victoria Payton had been cast as a social worker in the movie. It's certainly interesting that we now have two confirmed characters that work in the medical/well-being department. We also got news that Jimmy Basford is joining the cast. He also leaked some information about his role, responding to a Facebook fan message writing, "Yes, I'm paired with a lady," in brackets, wife, and are in the chase/water fight scene a lot. This water flight scene is likely a reference to the leaked Josh Hutcherson scene we spotlighted in the last episode of our behind-the-scenes coverage. If you want to go back and check out that video, there will be a link in the description of this video. Rounding up this absolutely massive week of casting announcements is an open casting call for the role of young Vanessa. We already know that actress Elizabeth Lail will be playing the adult version of this role. There is some speculation that this could be Vanessa, also known as Vanny. It's time to round up our behind-the-scenes coverage with the biggest news story of this week. This week, someone was touring the Jim Henson Creature Shop and snapped a picture from their visit and uploaded it to Instagram in a now-deleted post. Five Nights at Freddy's fans were quick to notice a fan-favorite animatronic hidden in one of the posts. There is some debate amongst fans whether this is straight-up Springtrap or simply withered Spring Bonnie. Let's start this week's coverage with news with a surprising turn of events. YouTubers Daco, 8-Bit Ryan, Rezboski, and Basim Alem were invited by Scott Cawthon to visit the set of the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's film. Fans of the franchise were excited to see what behind-the-scenes content the YouTubers would bring back. The YouTubers all met Scott Cawthon on the set of the Five Nights at Freddy's film and shared pictures of their visit on social media. Daco had this to say about his experience. The FNAF movie set is beyond incredible and something that I'll never forget. The whole cast, crew, the Jim Henson Company, and Scott have put so much love and passion into this movie. It's truly amazing. In addition to their visit, the YouTubers also revealed a surprise for fans, the return of the iconic Freddy's pizza sign. Elsewhere, actress Kat Connor-Sterling, who will be playing the character Max in the FNAF movie, has given fans their first look at the script for the movie. While this might not sound interesting at first, the script actually reveals the official title of the movie. Thanks to actress Sterling, we now know the official title of the movie is... Drum roll, please. Five Nights at Freddy's. While this may not seem like big news at first, fans have been eagerly anticipating the reveal of the official title for months. Before this announcement, there has been some debate and speculation amongst fans as the FNAF movie has been going under the working title Bad Cupcake. For those who may not know, a working title is a temporary title given to a project that is subject to change before its official release. Let's finish with the biggest news story of the week. According to recent speculation, it seems that the infamous Bite of 83 will be featured in the upcoming FNAF movie. Actor Wyatt Parker, who is rumored to be playing young Mike Schmidt, portrayed by Josh Hutcherson, recently uploaded a story on his Instagram with the comment, "Nice to see my little brother again." As the actors are not related, this comment seems to confirm the theory that Parker is playing young Mike and that Garrett is his younger brother, also known as the Crying Child. This news has excited FNAF fans who have been eagerly waiting for any news on the movie's storyline. While we still don't know exactly how the Bite of 83 will be portrayed in the movie, this speculation has only increased the hype and anticipation for the movie's release. Let's start this week's coverage by getting the elephant in the room out of the way. After years of development, we can't believe we are actually saying this. We have got our first look at the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. We still can't believe this movie is actually a reality, but here it is. We are looking at our first official image from the movie. This is genuinely such a hype day for FNAF fans everywhere. We have an official release date for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. After years of waiting, fans will finally be able to watch the movie on October 27th, 2023. In 205 days, we are all going to be able to experience this, and we could honestly cry. That wasn't the only release date information we got. In a surprising turn of events, the movie will also release day and date on Peacock, Universal's streaming service. We hate to sour what is such an exciting day for FNAF fans, but we have to mention that we are somewhat scared about this release strategy. A simultaneous theatrical and Peacock in some ways does seem to show a lack of confidence from Universal in the product. Alternatively, it could just be Universal using FNAF to promote its streaming service. We here at SLUURP are just scared that this will diminish the box office returns and affect the potential sequels. Hopefully we are just overreacting, but we definitely hope the decision for the simultaneous release is addressed by one of the producers or directors. Until then, we are wishing the editing team all the best. While some fans were excited about the dual release, others were disappointed and even worried about the impact it could have on the movie's box office performance.
The brain trust over at NBC Universal has made the confoundedly stupid decision to hamstring this movie in advance, and they're going to release it day and date in theaters and on Peacock at the same time. Which they have tried this experiment before, and it's proven that it doesn't work, but I guess they've decided they wanted to try it again.
Blumhouse, the studio behind the movie, responded to the backlash with a statement. It reads as follows. Like our Halloween movies, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie will premiere in theaters and on the Universal Comcast streaming platform Peacock at the same time. Universal and Comcast believe that because the fandom Scott has built over the last decade is so varied and intense, a simultaneous release is the best way to turn the Five Nights at Freddy's movie into a huge cultural event. Anyone looking for that communal experience can see the film in theaters. Superfans can rewatch it on Peacock and catch all the Easter eggs. The way consumers will experience the marketing campaign is that they'll be directed to theaters first and only later to Peacock. It is very rare to have an opportunity with a big corporate entity like Comcast, where they have a huge vested interest in making as many people aware of the movie as possible. This bodes well not just for this film, but for any potential subsequent Five Nights films. This week, we got a massive treat for the FNAF fandom, our first look inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. For those who don't know, this location is a crucial part of the FNAF lore, as it is the location where the first game took place. The exclusive leak comes from Cupcake Malvado, who shared an image of the interior of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place on Twitter. The image shows some arcades, children's drawings, and posters, all the things you'd expect to find in a family-friendly pizzeria. But what's really exciting is that we use AI to enhance the image, revealing even more details about the environment. Of course, with any leak like this, there's bound to be some speculation and debate among fans. Some have suggested that this might not even be Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza Place, but rather Fredbear's Family Diner, the location of the iconic Bite of 83 event. Fans have compared things like the carpet in the leaked image to other FNAF games and merchandise, trying to piece together the location. As we previously reported, it looks likely that the Bite of 83 will take place within the movie. However, the original leaker does seem to indicate that this is indeed Freddy's Pizzeria. We'll leave the speculation up to the audience and see how it all plays out when the movie hits theaters and Peacock on October 27th, 2023. A logo reveal and a huge character confirmation in one single TikTok leak. Buckle up, because this next story is a doozy. Actress Kat Connor Sterling, who will play Max in the movie, recently posted a TikTok showing off some Five Nights at Freddy's themed cups that she received as a gift from Blumhouse to celebrate the completion of filming. It's safe to say that these cups will most likely be merch in the future. But what really caught our attention was the paper that came with the gift. It reads, "Thanks to you, this cast and crew will make the world believe that a bear can sing, a cupcake can bite, and a Springlock can sting. For that and more, we raise a glass to you." This confirms what longtime viewers of our BTS series already know. Springlock has been long rumored to appear in the movie. But this reference seems to confirm it even more. And who knows, maybe those cups will become merch for FNAF fans in the near future. The casting news just doesn't seem to want to slow down, and this week's announcement is one of the biggest yet. We must warn you that this news comes with a major spoiler alert. It has officially been revealed that Dylan Horner will be voicing Balloon Boy in the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. For those unfamiliar with the character, Balloon Boy, also known as BB, is a humanoid toy animatronic that features in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. As we've been reporting for weeks now, this casting seems to finally put an end to the rumors that each entry in the FNAF movie trilogy will coincide with the games in the franchise. Instead, it appears that the first movie will blend elements from the first 3 games in the series, paving the way for future films in the trilogy to follow the preceding games, such as Sister Location. We're excited to see how Horner will bring Balloon Boy to life on the big screen, and we can't wait to see what other casting announcements are in store for us. We've got a big one for you to end this week's episode of Behind the Scenes News. A 2.5-minute leaked video from a costume employee on the set of the FNAF movie. The video starts off with possible new renders of the characters, including Golden Freddy alongside the main cast. This only further confirms his involvement in the movie and has fans excited to see how he'll fit into the story. But that's not all. Later in the video, we see some concept art that's clearly based on the movie, featuring the same Pizza Place logo we've seen in past behind-the-scenes leaks. However, we can't confirm whether this art is official or just a crew member's personal project. It looks like it's been colored in with crayons, which could indicate it's just for fun. The rest of the video doesn't show much of the set, except for some behind-the-scenes storage. But it's still exciting to get a glimpse of what's going on behind the scenes, even if we probably shouldn't be seeing it. Starting off the behind-the-scenes news video is some exciting news from the leaker Cult of Ember, known for their spot-on leaks on upcoming Marvel movies. This leaker has a proven track record of accurately leaking information for upcoming Marvel movies, including concept art and behind-the-scenes photos for Spider-Man: No Way Home. But let's focus on what they've shared about the FNAF movie this week. Firstly, it's been revealed that the movie won't just take place in the 80s as previously speculated. Instead, only flashbacks will take place during that time period. Most of the movie will actually take place after the restaurant has already become run down. In addition, Cult of Ember has revealed that Raphael Luce will appear in the film, likely in a commercial. Raphael's appearance will be in a training video for the restaurant that's shown during a flashback. The video features a woman explaining how to operate the animatronic suits. We emphasize that we only see the animatronics in good condition during flashbacks. Speaking of which, the leaker also shared that the animatronics in the movie are one-to-one recreations. These leaks are definitely exciting for fans of the FNAF franchise. They give us a better idea of what to expect from the movie, and it seems like the filmmakers are staying true to the source material. The fact that the animatronics are one-to-one recreations, for example, should please fans who have been waiting for a faithful adaptation. We want to thank Cult of Ember for their continued reporting and for keeping the hype alive for FNAF fans everywhere. If you're not already following them, be sure to give them a follow on Twitter and let them know SLUURP sent you. The FNAF community is absolutely buzzing with excitement over this next news story. Boys, girls, and non-binary pals, the bite of 83 is happening. To recap, actor Wyatt Parker, who was previously cast and rumored to be playing young Mike Schmidt in the FNAF movie, posted on his Instagram story with the comment, "Nice to see my little brother again," indicating that his character is related to Garrett, also known as the Crying Child. For those new to the FNAF world, the bite of 83 refers to an event where an animatronic bites a child named the Crying Child, resulting in severe injuries, and has been a significant part of FNAF lore. After weeks of speculation, we finally have confirmation that Wyatt Parker has been cast as young Mike in the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. While that seals the deal, we're definitely getting the bite of 83 in this movie. Given Mike's description of feeling regret for a tragedy in his past and the fact that Garrett is likely the Crying Child, it seems almost certain that the bite of 83 will be a significant part of the movie's plot. It would be surprising at this point if the movie didn't include this pivotal event in the FNAF lore. It's clear that Mike is working through the trauma of this past event in the present events of the film. We can't wait to see how this pivotal moment in FNAF lore will be portrayed on the big screen and how it will tie into the overall story of the movie. This next news item might not be the most exciting one, but it's always great to see behind-the-scenes content from upcoming films. This week, an official image was released of director Emma Tammy and producer Christopher H. Warner on the set of the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's film, which is set to release on October 27, 2023. While the image itself may not reveal anything too noteworthy, it's still exciting to see the cast and crew working on the movie. We love getting these glimpses of the filmmaking process, and it only adds to our anticipation for the final product. Our final news story of the week is one we have been reporting on for a few weeks now. Markiplier has added further fuel to the fire in regards to his role in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Markiplier rose to fame through his popular YouTube channel, which features him playing horror games like FNAF, gaining the title king of Five Nights at Freddy's. As a result, fans are speculating whether or not he will have a role in the upcoming movie. In a March 2023 interview with Variety, Markiplier revealed that he can't discuss his role in the film due to scheduling conflicts. It's possible that these conflicts could be related to a movie project of his own that he had mentioned in a video around the same time. In a recent stream, Markiplier spoke about a number of subjects, first and foremost being the movie he's been working on. While he hasn't mentioned a lot about it, fans have asked whether it's in relation to the Five Nights at Freddy's adaptation. The YouTuber says at around the 9:40 mark that his own project is in no way related to the survival horror series. However, later on in the video at around the 30-minute mark, he insists, while looking straight into the camera, that he doesn't know anything about FNAF movie.
Don't know anything about the FNAF movie. Don't ask me anything about the FNAF movie. My God, the things that I could definitely not tell you about the FNAF movie that I definitely don't know about. Wink. I don't know anything. Or do I? Question.
Markiplier's tone and delivery were quite humorous and cheeky, leading some to believe that he may, in fact, know something. But without any confirmation, it's all just speculation. While there is no definitive answer to whether or not Markiplier will appear in the FNAF movie, his involvement would certainly excite fans of the game and the YouTube star. We'll have to wait and see if any further information comes to light. Get ready, FNAF fans, because Universal is finally giving us a taste of what's to come. The studio has been busy setting up official pages for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie on their social media and website channels. And while most of these pages are still featuring placeholder text cards, there was one brand new image that was spotted by some eagle-eyed fans. But before we show you the image, we have to issue a huge spoiler warning. If you're a major fan of the franchise, we recommend that you sit down for this one. Are you ready? Okay, here it is. It's the walls of Freddy's Pizza Place. That's right, folks, the walls are officially confirmed for the movie. It might not be the most exciting reveal, but all of this activity across the official channels does seem to indicate that the marketing campaign is ready to start heating up. Our final news story of the week is sure to put a smile on the faces of all Five Nights at Freddy's fans. We've got our hands on an updated plotline for the movie, and it sounds like it's going to be amazing. According to Collider, a very trustworthy movie news source, the upcoming supernatural horror story has assembled quite an impressive cast for itself, including performances from Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson. Lillard will be in charge of playing William Afton, the violent serial killer who abducts and murders children while dressed in a golden bunny suit. The disappearance of the kids leaves a haunted legacy for the pizza place, but the story isn't quite over. A security guard, played by Hutcherson, will start working the night shift at the establishment, and he'll soon discover that not everything is as it seems at Freddy's. The animatronics that sing and dance for visitors during the day display bizarre behavior after dark, setting the stage for the central mystery around the story. As a FNAF fan, this plotline makes us so pleased since it doesn't seem to stray far from the beloved source material. It also seems to do a good job of summarizing multiple elements from multiple games into one plot without needing to cram too much lore into one singular movie. But wait, the plot details don't end there. We just had to do a last-minute rewrite to fit this one in this week's BTS video. 3C Films is becoming quite the star in this week's behind-the-scene coverage, as he has just shared another absurdly huge leak with the Five Nights at Freddy's community. In his video titled Five Nights at Freddy's Movie In-Depth Plot Found, they have some new information to share that was found through a movie survey app called Dave. The survey included a plot synopsis of the movie that was written by Blumhouse to give an idea of the movie structure without giving away spoilers. From producer Jason Blum, and based on the acclaimed video game series of the same name, in this supernatural horror film, Mike Schmidt, played by Josh Hutcherson, is a troubled security guard who starts a seemingly easy overnight gig at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, the local family entertainment center. Struggling to take care of his 10-year-old sister Abby on his own, the generally undependable Mike is low on options when he lands this new job to pay the bills and brings her along to the gig. Mike quickly realizes, however, that the night shift at Freddy's won't be as kickback as he was thinking after he makes a disturbing discovery that the pizza place's 4 horrifying animatronic mascots all apparently come alive, moving about on their own as they hunt down and attempt to kill anyone that is still at Freddy's after midnight. Now Mike and Abby must do everything they can to keep themselves alive through the night. But after a local police officer, Vanessa Monroe, arrives and quickly finds herself thrust in the middle of this terrifying situation, she is able to shed some light on the dark history and inner workings of Fazbear Entertainment and its nefarious co-founder William Afton, a man who, it turns out, is a child murderer. With their ghosts now haunting the animatronic creatures, Mike, Abby, and Vanessa must find a way to all work together if they are to have any chance at surviving this increasingly deadly night with animatronic characters by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. This is insane. Based on the synopsis we just got, it looks like we're going to be in for a wild ride. Not only do we get to follow the story of Mike Schmidt, but we also get to see his 10-year-old sister Abby join him in the nightmare at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. We are especially curious about how they'll portray the rundown pizzeria and a relationship between Abby and Freddy Fazbear as seen in the first official picture. Will the movie stick faithfully to the games and follow a 5-night format, or will it all take place in one terrifying night? We want to give a big shout out to 3C Films for sharing this news. Thank you so much for keeping us updated on all things Five Nights at Freddy's. We are beyond hyped for this movie and we can't wait to see how it all plays out on the big screen. It's time to switch gears and talk about a story that has taken the FNAF community by surprise. This week, we received some major casting news with 2 of the main animatronics in the movie being recast. The first recast is for the voice of Golden Freddy, with Jade Hassan taking over the role. It remains to be seen what direction Hassan will take with the character, but we're excited to see what he brings to the table. The second recast is for the character of Bonnie, with Jade Kinder-Martin taking over from John Sanford Moore. This news has left many fans wondering why the sudden recasts. Were there creative differences, or did the previous actors have scheduling conflicts? Unfortunately, we don't have any official statements from the production team yet. It's also worth noting that recasting is not uncommon in the movie industry. Sometimes actors may not be the right fit for the role, or their schedules may change unexpectedly. In any case, we'll have to wait and see how the new actors bring these characters to life on the big screen. Regardless, we're sure that the filmmakers have made these decisions with the best interests of the movie in mind. We're looking forward to seeing how these changes play out on the big screen. This next story is a real treat for Five Nights at Freddy's fans. Blumhouse has released a brand new official image from the movie's marketing campaign, and it's causing quite a stir. In fact, we nearly missed it ourselves when we saw it floating around in our Discord server, thinking it was just a fan creation. But upon checking the official Blumhouse Instagram account, we can confirm that it is indeed official. The image is a split screen promoting two of Blumhouse's franchises with movies in the pipeline, Five Nights at Freddy's and The Exorcist. On the left-hand side of the image, we see a party table with party hands on top and a cutout paper people chain hanging over it. In the distance, we see darkness with two red glowing eyes. We tried to put this image through a number of AI tools to lighten the image, but none gave us good results, so we still can't work out who these eyes belong to. In all honesty, the image almost feels like a fan-made image or something made by an enthusiastic marketing intern, rather than an official piece of marketing material for a highly anticipated film. It is possible that a social media manager pieced together the image using concept art and assets from the movie's production. It's worth noting that the FNAF logo in the image is in a different style and font yet again, making this the third different variation we've seen for the movie's official title. The image was shared with the caption "Ready for a Bloodbath," which might just be another point for those fans fighting for an R rating for the movie. Fans of our behind-the-scenes series may remember that this announcement was met with some backlash. Many felt that a simultaneous release indicated a lack of faith in the project from Blumhouse, while others were concerned that it could negatively impact the movie's box office performance and, in turn, harm the chances for planned sequels. The backlash was significant enough that Blumhouse felt compelled to address it publicly. At the time, some remained skeptical about the sincerity of Blumhouse's response. However, it seems the studio is now doubling down on their approach, as evidenced by a recent interview with Bloomberg, a highly respected global business and financial news provider featuring Blumhouse's president of J. Prakash. While the interview did reveal much about Five Nights at Freddy's specifically, there were a few notable comments from Prakash that caught our attention. Let's take a listen to the clip.
For sure, the theatrical release model is an incredible way to generate cultural impact and value. I think we've seen through the course of the way we've released movies that having that sequential windows for consumers to engage with it works incredibly well. But there are some projects, we have one coming up later this year, Five Nights at Freddy's, that's actually going to be debuting theatrically and in the home at the same time. And you've got a very unique fan base there that's engaged with that property historically, at home via games. And so we really tailor the release for what works best for the project. It is, I think you're absolutely right, right? Super Mario Bros. Is an example of that. We have one where we're adapting the Five Nights at Freddy's very successful game into a movie later this year. We're working on another development project that falls in that category too. So even though we're not, as a primary focus in our games division, taking IP that exists and turning into games, we do think that's a possibility with the games that we do, that if they are successful, we can adapt them into film and TV. Frankly, it's one of the unique aspects that we bring to the table as a games publisher.
It's encouraging to hear the Blumhouse president speak about their release strategy for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie in such a thoughtful and considered manner. It's clear that they have taken into account the unique and engaged fan base that has grown around the FNAF property through the games, and that they have tailored their release plans to best serve that fan base. Fans may be somewhat relieved to hear that the simultaneous theatrical and streaming release is not a sign of a lack of faith in the project, but rather a carefully considered approach designed to give fans the most opportunities to experience the film in the way that works best for them. If you are someone who is worried about the simultaneous release, does this short interview do anything to calm those nerves? Before we get to our huge announcement, the biggest news of the week undoubtedly goes to a shocking casting announcement from a highly reputable Johnny Blocks. This week, we learned that Garrett Hines, a talented actor, has been cast as Mike's dad in Blumhouse's upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. For those who are unfamiliar with the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, Michael Schmidt is the son of William Afton. We already know that Josh Hutcherson will be playing Mike Schmidt in the movie adaptation, and the legendary actor Matthew Lillard will be playing William Afton. This casting decision suggests that the filmmakers are taking the story in a different direction. Fans of the franchise are undoubtedly wondering what this means for the storyline. Some theorists have suggested that Garrett Hines' character may actually be a stepfather rather than a biological one, which would explain why Michael's last name is different from his father's. In our opinion, if this is the direction that the filmmakers are taking, it feels like a predictable plot twist. It comes across as safe and reeks Luke, I am your father energy. However, we are still open to having our minds changed as more information is revealed. Before we get into the trailer, let's take a moment to recap what the first poster actually revealed. Fans of this beloved series have been eagerly anticipating an official poster or trailer, and it seems like our prayers have been answered. Jason Blum, the mastermind behind Blumhouse, has finally unleashed the first poster upon us, and it's beyond anything we could have imagined. Let's talk about this poster, shall we? It features the franchise's four most iconic animatronic characters, each getting their moment in the spotlight. Freddy takes center stage, exuding an eerie aura that sends shivers down our spines. Bonnie, sporting a full-on guitar strap, stands proudly by Freddy's side. Chica, clutching Mr. Cupcake, showcases her playful yet unsettling presence. And of course, we can't forget fan favorite Foxy, who brings that touch of mischievous charm. It's a sight to behold, my friends. Honestly, it still feels surreal to see this poster and know that the movie is actually happening. But wait, there's more. In addition to the main poster, we were blessed with individual character posters, each highlighting the unique essence of these animatronic wonders. The attention to detail is mind-boggling, fueling our confidence in the final product. We can't help but feel a surge of excitement knowing that the movie will do justice to these beloved characters. And let's not forget the official logo for the movie, a subject of much speculation and debate for months. Blumhouse has truly outdone themselves with a bold, worn-out font that bears a striking resemblance to a fast food chain restaurant. It's a perfect fit for the movie's theme and a much-needed upgrade from the old Five Nights logo, which was starting to show its age. Bravo, Blumhouse. Now we're guessing if you're watching this video, you've probably seen countless breakdowns and speculation videos about the teaser trailer. We've even thrown our own into the mix. But that's not really what we're here to dive into today. No, we're here to talk about the controversy that's been firing up around the trailer itself. The trailer dropped and boy, did it get a reaction. Lots of views, mostly positive vibes, but one particular thing did stick out like a sore thumb to many die-hard fans. Yep, we're talking about the red eyes on the animatronics. In the trailer, these bad boys' eyes glow red when they're active at night, a pretty obvious nod to their evil intent, right? Well, that's not gone down too well in the Five Nights at Freddy's community. Over on Reddit, one of the top threads is all about those glowing red eyes. And sorry to say, folks, the consensus is far from positive. Our friend Bioshocker 101 called them goofy and reckons they detract from the overall creep factor. They also pointed out that the menacing squint we see at the end of the trailer just doesn't work. Makes them less deadpan, and yep, you guessed it, less creepy. People have even started comparing the red eye debate to the Sonic trailer controversy and the Chris Pratt Mario casting saga. Here behind the scenes, we reckon it's somewhere in between the two. Sure, Sonic's original design was, let's face it, a disaster and would have tanked the movie. But these red eyes, while unexpected, don't seem like they'll massively impact the final film. We want to point you to a comment made by our pal Connor.
But they could do it, and they could do it really well.
Well, that's why I keep going back to like Gremlins, because, you know, there's, for the real, towards the end, that they sort of start taking liberties then and start, you know, with the gore and the blood and things breaks down. And so if you could do it in that sort of style.
We agree. Maybe it's time we accept that this is going to be a throwback horror flick in the vein of the 80s horror classics, a cheesy, fun ride. And honestly, Five Nights might just be the perfect project to revive this genre. Just when we thought the team at Blumhouse has already satiated our Five Nights at Freddy's appetite for a bit, lo and behold, another morsel hits the web barely a day after the last one. This new image teases a different perspective of a sequence we've already glimpsed in the trailer, featuring none other than Josh Hutcherson's Mike, seemingly stuck in some sort of mechanized, saw-wielding trap. Naturally, this has sent the fanbase into overdrive with speculation over what exactly is happening in this sequence. Some fans are floating the idea that this could be a dream sequence. Imagine Mike dozing off on his first night on the job, only to wake up in a terror-induced cold sweat, picturing a relentless metal blade inching closer to his face. On the other hand, others think that this could be a nod to the infamous Springlock soups of the franchise. If that's what getting stuffed into a soup looks like in this cinematic universe, then wow, that's one brutal interpretation and we're all here for it. But until we have a full trailer or some more clues, all we can do is hypothesize. So, make sure you join the discussion in the comments section below. But wait, there's more. This week also graced us with another behind-the-scenes image, offering a clearer look at an animatronic that was somewhat hidden in the teaser trailer. Yes, we're talking about the GOAT, the one and only Chica. The image in question shows an unidentified person standing next to the animatronic heads of Chica, Bonnie, and Freddy, all marvelously crafted by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Though Freddy and Bonnie are a bit hard to discern, Chica is clearly visible. And let me tell you, she looks straight up phenomenal, like she's been ripped straight from the video game. As I shared before on the channel, Chica's always been my personal favorite, with her hair-raising jump scares and top-notch animation cycles. Judging by this BTS image, it looks like they've absolutely nailed the representation of my favorite character. And our final sneak peek for this session comes courtesy of YouTuber Dolly Dashund. Our longtime viewers will remember her as the creator who previously revealed her involvement in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Well, now that the marketing campaign is rolling out, she's slowly but surely sharing more about her time on set. Her latest share: this fresh look inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, straight from her video that also unpacks a few other intriguing BTS tidbits about the set.
Chica, stained glass thing right here, same picture as there. And if you look right here, that's where I was sitting. Everything was connected, where the employees made the pizza to where we were sitting to where the stage was. Even the ball pit, you could just go right there. In fact, that's where the ball pit was, way down there.
As always, we're hugely grateful to Dolly Dashund for these tantalizing glimpses behind the curtain. We highly recommend checking out her channel for more insider scoops. Here's a piece of news that will certainly electrify the true Five Nights enthusiasts among you. Brace yourselves. A novel adaptation of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie has been discovered on Book Manager, scheduled for release on December 5th, 2023. Now, that's notably later than the film's October release, which could be a strategic move to curtail spoilers and keep the spotlight firmly on the movie itself. For those die-hard Star Wars fans who endured the Disney sequels, you know that movie novelizations can often fill out the story, giving us more depth in terms of plot and character development. And let's be honest here, sometimes the novel can even outshine the movie it's based on. So it probably won't come as a shock when we say that we'll be pre-ordering, purchasing, and poring over this book. We're confident it will become an indispensable reference for the Five Nights fandom, something akin to a Five Nights Bible, if you will. Buckle up, because we are diving headfirst into one of the most monumental moments of this BTS series, the release of the first full-length trailer for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. If you thought the teaser trailer was mind-blowing, prepare to have your socks knocked off, because this is on a whole new level. Universal has officially unveiled the dark secrets lurking within Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and let me tell you, it's a spine-chilling journey. Josh Hutcherson's night shift takes a terrifying turn as he faces a pack of murderous mechanical mascots that dwell in the shadows, ready to turn his world into a living nightmare. Now, let's talk about this trailer. It's our best look yet at the iconic characters we know and love: Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the infamous Mr. Cupcake. Thanks to the incredible talent of Jim Henson's Creature Shop, these animatronic horrors come to life on the big screen just in time to haunt our dreams this Halloween. But let's take a step back and look at some jaw-dropping statistics that will leave Five Nights superfans feeling elated. Within just 2 days of its release, the trailer on Universal Pictures' YouTube channel has amassed a whopping 13 million views and counting. And mind you, this doesn't even include views from other channels or social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. The excitement is off the charts. And it doesn't stop there. The buzz around the trailer is reaching new heights. Johnny Blocks, whose insights we greatly admire, shared some fascinating data that further indicates the movie's potential success. Corey Kenshin's reaction to the trailer trended at number 1, while the official trailer itself trended at number 2. Not to mention, 8-Bit Ryan's reaction claimed the 7th spot, and Dako's reaction and analysis secured the 10th spot. Fusion Z Gamer's reaction made its mark at number 12, and Dwayne N. Jazzy's reaction rounded out the list at number 19. These statistics speak volumes about the immense anticipation and positive reception surrounding the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. The movie is generating an incredible buzz within the community, setting the stage for what could be an unprecedented box office success. Let's shift our focus to an exciting revelation about the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. As the marketing campaign gains momentum, the cast members are starting to share intriguing insights. This week, actress Kat Connor Sterling took to TikTok to provide some hints about her character, Max.
There's a clip of me looking up and being all scared. Ugh. And then there's a clip of me looking eyes to mouth to someone. Who could it be? Also, I didn't even see this at first, but someone pointed out to me I'm up over here, right there. I didn't even see that at first. You can't really see me. What I can say without breaking an NDA, and it's kind of obvious now, but Max does have a story that ties some things together and affects the outcome of the story. So it's pretty spooky!
In her TikTok video, Sterling revealed that Max does have a story that ties things together and affects the outcome of the story. Fans have been buzzing with theories speculating that Max and Hank could be connected to Charlie and Henry or serve as a clever reference to the Emily family. As we eagerly await the movie's release, we hope to see more of these intriguing reveals from the talented cast. Each new detail brings us closer to unraveling the mysteries of Five Nights at Freddy's. Get ready for an exciting segment of this week's BTS series as we unveil exclusive behind-the-scenes photos from the set of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. The first image showcases the talented director Emma Tammy, immersed in her work alongside none other than the iconic Freddy Fazbear himself. It's truly remarkable to witness the practicality and craftsmanship of the Jim Henson-created animatronics in action. These behind-the-scenes glimpses fuel our desire for a comprehensive documentary accompanying the movie, featuring interviews, the animatronic costume creation process, and more captivating BTS moments. Who knows? Perhaps we'll be lucky enough to see these incredible moments on a future Blu-ray or DVD release. I can't express enough how much I adore this picture. It's so impressive that I'm even considering producing a print to adorn our brand new SLUURP office. As we continue our behind-the-scenes coverage of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, we'd like to express our gratitude once again to Flexispot for their support. Now, let's delve into an exciting development that accompanied the release of the full-length trailer, the inclusion of popular FNAF YouTubers in the movie. Confirmed cameos include Daco, Fusion Z Gamer, 8-Bit Ryan, DJ Sturf, Baz, and Razboski, who will portray employees of the month in the film. However, the standout cameo among them belongs to YouTube sensation Korix Kenshin, playing a taxi driver who unwittingly transports Josh Hutcherson's little sister and a battered Golden Freddy animatronic in the backseat. Daco, well known to many of you, even tweeted a behind-the-scenes picture that confirmed his appearance in the movie. This snapshot offers us a glimpse of other YouTubers in their employee roles. It's a heartwarming tribute to the creators who have contributed to the FNAF series over the years, although it seems they have all fallen victim to the roaming animatronics within the pizzeria's dark corridors. To recap, the inclusion of these beloved YouTubers in the movie adds an extra layer of excitement for fans. It's a testament to the strong connection between the FNAF community and the franchise, making the movie even more of a must-watch experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting update. Just before airing this episode of Behind the Scenes, we received breaking news that compelled us to do a last-minute rewrite. We simply couldn't pass up the opportunity to share the remarkable insights from Jason Blum's interview with IGN regarding the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So, buckle up and get ready for some exclusive details that add another layer of intrigue to this week's coverage. In the interview, Jason Blum, the esteemed producer and founder of Blumhouse, provided even more fascinating tidbits about the development of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. He explained that part of what drew him to the project was the challenge it presented. Blum revealed that Scott Cawthon, the game's creator, had previously worked on developing the movie with another studio, but their collaboration didn't pan out. Despite the initial setbacks and skepticism from within his own company, Blum saw the potential in the project and was determined to make it a reality. Blumhouse's journey to bring Five Nights at Freddy's to the screen was not without its obstacles. Chris Columbus was initially set to direct the movie but later departed, leading to Emma Tammy taking over the director's chair. Additionally, there were script revisions along the way, including one version that had to be discarded because it didn't align with Cawthon's vision. However, Blum's dedication and belief in the project eventually paid off. With the release date of October 27, 2023 fast approaching, it's clear that Blumhouse's perseverance and dedication to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie have paid off. Blum's enthusiasm and pride for the film are evident, leaving fans eagerly anticipating the scares and thrills that await them on the big screen. So, there you have it. Fresh from the interview with IGN, we couldn't resist incorporating this breaking news into our episode, as it adds depth and insight to the behind-the-scenes journey of this highly anticipated adaptation. In the past few days, a new variant of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie poster has surfaced online, generating excitement among fans. This version features a wider frame, providing us with a full glimpse of the iconic character Freddy Fazbear. The poster was initially spotted at Stricker Entertainment's booth during the 2023 Licensing Expo held in Las Vegas. Since then, it has also been discovered digitally on a Spanish theater's website, further fueling anticipation for the film. While this may seem like a small update, it's these little details that keep fans buzzing and eager for more. The evolving marketing materials and sneak peeks only intensify the anticipation as we inch closer to the movie's release. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome to an extraordinary and incredibly vital episode of our Behind the Scenes series. This is Aiden, your dedicated Sultan of SLUURP, and today, we're delving into a topic that could shake Hollywood to its core. Buckle up, because what we're about to reveal is nothing short of monumental. Before we delve into what this all means for the highly anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it's crucial to provide you with a comprehensive breakdown of the events unfolding in the entertainment industry. Hollywood is going through a major shakeup as SAG, the superhero union representing 160,000 actors, takes a stand and goes on strike. They've joined forces with the writers, creating a historic shutdown that hasn't happened in over 6 decades. So, what's all the fuss about, you ask? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in the day, actors and writers scored big bucks through something called syndication. You see, when a show became a huge hit, they keep playing reruns over and over again, and guess what? The folks involved, actors, writers, and everyone else, got paid again and again. Fast forward to today, and streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney, and Hulu are taking over. You know those shows you binge watch in one sitting. Yet, they're not just one-time deals anymore. People keep watching them over and over again. But here's the catch, actors and writers aren't getting the same sweet deal as before. They're saying, hey, if our shows are bringing in all these viewers, we want a piece of the action too. So, our talented actors and creative writers are raising their voices, demanding fair pay for their hard work. They're standing up to the bigwigs in Hollywood, saying, we deserve a fair share of the success we help create. It's a clash between old-school Hollywood rules and the brave new world of streaming. But wait, there's more. AI is lurking in the shadows, and it's got everyone in the entertainment industry on edge. Imagine robots that can mimic human faces and voices, even reimagining iconic characters. It's a sci-fi nightmare for our favorite creatives, and they're standing tall to protect their artistry from being replaced by machines. Picture this. Studios offering background actors a day's pay for their digital scans, but what's the catch? Those scans become digital likenesses that can be used in any project forever without consent or compensation. It's an eerie proposition. The actors' strike isn't just about the A-list stars. It's a battle for the often unnoticed, hardworking talents that make movies and shows come alive. Background actors, voiceover artists, and other people who will never be millionaires. They're the ones who bring life to the fictional worlds we escape to, and who make dreams a reality. But their livelihoods are at risk as the rise of generative AI looms over their heads. As the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom eagerly awaits the movie's release, the industry-wide strike casts a shadow of uncertainty over the film's promotional plans. The strike, involving the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and the Writers Guild of America, means actors and writers are unable to participate in any film productions, attend movie premieres, or partake in any press or social media campaigns. For our FNAF followers, this raises concerns about the movie's promotional campaign. With actors unable to participate, traditional methods of promoting the film are on hold. Many worried fans have already taken to social media. The Five at Freddy's movie is delayed. You may have seen this a lot recently as users have posted about the impact of the ongoing strikes. While it's not entirely ruled out, there's a glimmer of hope. As the movie is currently in post-production, the primary work of the actors and writers is completed, except for the promotional campaign. The real question is, how will Blumhouse and Universal Pictures go about promoting the movie without the involvement of the cast? The possibilities are intriguing. Some fans have suggested recruiting popular Five Nights YouTubers to engage in promotional activities and build excitement among the community. Others have proposed an unconventional approach, with the animatronic characters from the film walking the red carpet in a unique and immersive marketing stunt. A similar idea transpired recently for the premiere of Disney's live-action Haunted Mansion reboot. Mickey and Minnie Mouse also took photos with guests. It's important to remember that while the strike could potentially last into the fall or beyond, there's still hope for a resolution before the movie's release date. In the midst of the SAG strike, Jason Blum, the visionary force behind Blumhouse and a driving force in bringing the Five Nights movie to life, found himself at the center of an ill-timed controversy. This week, Blum posted a now-deleted photo on social media, showing him enjoying leisure time with David Zaslav at an outdoor shooting range, seemingly unaffected by the unfolding strike. The timing of the photo's release struck a nerve with many who felt that Blum's display of leisure and luxury during the strike was insensitive. For actors and other professionals in the entertainment industry, The strike was a crucial stand for fair pay and improved working conditions, issues that have significant implications for their livelihoods and well-being. Some in the industry expressed disappointment, pointing out that it would have been a powerful and supportive gesture for someone like Blum, who has amassed an estimated fortune of $200 million to stand in solidarity with those who have contributed to his success. While these actors and workers are fighting for their basic rights and fair treatment, such images of mobiles seemingly untouched by the situation can be perceived as disheartening. The controversy around Blum's photo serves as a reminder that the impact of these strikes goes beyond just production delays or promotional campaigns. It highlights the importance of recognizing and supporting the people who put their talent and hard work into bringing stories to life on screen, ensuring that their contributions are valued and respected in the process. The impact of the strikes is already being felt by the Five Nights at Freddy's movie cast. Kat Connor Sterling, who has been a wonderful source of behind-the-scenes scoops, took to Twitter to share her feelings with fans. She expressed her deep gratitude and genuine love for the FNAF community. However, due to the ongoing SAG strike, she won't be able to post or speak about FNAF for a while. Kat hopes for a swift resolution to the strike so she can begin promoting the amazing and beloved franchise again. In the meantime, she encouraged fans to continue sharing their love for FNAF through art, videos, and comments. Meanwhile, Christian Stokes, who has already become an iconic figure in the FNAF world, also addressed the impact of the strike on his social media. He informed fans that, unfortunately, he can't post about the movie for the time being due to the strike. Despite this setback, Christian still values the FNAF community and is happy to receive and share fan art and general art-related content. However, he clarified that he can't promote movie-specific materials like posters during the strike. Christian's clarification indicates that there might be some changes to an upcoming event that many FNAF enthusiasts were eagerly looking forward to: Matthew Lillard's interview with Game Jolt. The interview, originally scheduled for June 9th, was meant to promote Lillard's role as William Afton. However, due to the ongoing strike, it's likely to be canceled or postponed for the time being. Barely had the digital dust settled on our last week's episode when we got bombarded with messages from thrilled fans. The big news: an official landing page for the much-anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's movie just popped up on Universal's Peacock streaming service. Now those of you who've been on this ride with us since the beginning will remember our long-standing saga with the FNAF movie logos. It's been a revolving door of designs, hasn't it? With this new edition, we must be up to, version 7 now? Peacock's landing page doesn't just stop at a new logo. No, it showcases the iconic Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica, an image we've seen before, but nevertheless a significant one. It's interesting to see what kind of marketing materials Universal is leaning on to spotlight this movie. But let's not forget the most exciting part of this whole development. This landing page is not just a placeholder, not just a piece of digital real estate. It's a reminder, a countdown if you will, to the moment when we can, at the click of a button, watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie anytime we want. And honestly, can that moment come any sooner? We're absolutely buzzing with excitement. Let's dive straight into our most thrilling news story of the week: the unveiling of an all-new synopsis for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. This electrifying synopsis first popped up on the movie's official website, and it goes like this. The terrifying horror game phenomenon becomes a blood-chilling cinematic event as Blumhouse brings Five Nights at Freddy's to the big screen. The film follows Mike, a troubled young man haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother more than a decade ago. Recently fired and desperate for work, Mike takes up a night security guard position at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and with the help of local police officer Vanessa, finds himself drawn into an unspeakable nightmare. There's a lot to unpack there. Firstly, it's surprising that Matthew Lillard's nefarious character continues to go by the name Steve Raglan instead of William Afton. Is this setting up a movie twist? The fans already assume Lillard is playing Afton. Theories are sprinting up faster than you can say Freddy Fazbear, trying to explain Afton's intriguing alias. If you brewed your own theory, spill the tea in the comment section below. Elsewhere, we got more confirmation about the much-anticipated Bite of 83 scene, hinted at when the synopsis mentions Mike's haunting past linked to his younger brother's disappearance. Franchise veterans are definitely raising an eyebrow at this, wagering the odds of this being the fabled Bite of 83 are sky high. And lastly, one of the major takeaways, the casting of Mary Stuart Masterson as Mike's chilly Aunt Jane. This definitely warrants a more detailed discussion, which we'll jump into in the next story. As we know, every big reveal comes with its share of speculation and sometimes misinformation. Such is the case with our third segment, The Mysterious Aunt Jane. In a whirlwind of tweets from various Five Nights movie info accounts, we found ourselves confronted with screenshots of the Internet Movie Database listing for the Five Nights movie with Mary Stuart Masterson now attached to the character Jane Afton. Fan reactions were swift and intense. Jane, a relative of William Afton. Mike and William related in the movie just as in the games. Fans everywhere were ecstatic. But we hate to be the ones to throw water on that particular bonfire. It seems this IMDb revelation was not official, but rather the work of a mischievous fan. The name has since been corrected back to Aunt Jane on both IMDb and IMDb Pro. So, where does this leave us? Well, while the Jane Afton excitement has been put on hold, some fans are still holding out hope. And who can blame them? But until we have official confirmation, everything remains purely speculative. Don't worry though, the moment we get any concrete news about Mike's icy aunt, you'll be the first to hear it right here. Rounding up this edition of your weekly behind-the-scenes look at the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, we've got a very brief but quite intriguing news story. Brace yourselves, fans, as it appears there's a new version of the Five Nights trailer playing in movie theaters. This new trailer, while bearing a close resemblance to the original, is actually a tad bit shorter. Notably, it has entirely cut out Corey Kenshin's cameo. A bit of a bummer. What's more, the saga of the ever-changing logos continues. Interestingly, this recut trailer has decided to revert back to the logo from the first trailer. We talked about this before, but it's still genuinely puzzling why there's such a struggle to settle on one logo to represent the film. It's a bit of a mystery, much like the lore of FNAF itself. The suspense has finally ended. The talk of the town, the topic that has fueled countless debates in our community, has been resolved. We now have the official rating for the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association. Yes, you heard it right. Despite the civil war within our community with some lobbying for an R rating to showcase the darker corners of the FNAF lore, and others supporting a PG-13 rating for the younger fanbase, it seems the film producers have decided to favor a wider demographic reach. And why not? This means more seats filled in the theaters, better box office outcomes, and an increased likelihood of sequels. All music to our ears. Historically, the FNAF games have been rated T for teen, akin to a PG-13 rating for movies. The series has successfully struck a balance between jump scares and minimal gore, which has endeared it to a younger audience. The movie's rating aligns perfectly with this, but it does come with a clear note of strong violent content, bloody images, and language. So younger fans, you might want to keep that in mind. Could there be an R-rated director's cut for the movie? Or perhaps an unrated version like we saw with Megan earlier this year? Only time will tell. Let's dive back into the heart of our BTS series with what has always been its signature feature, the captivating behind-the-scenes images. With the Five Nights movie on the horizon, we're getting treated to a sneak peek behind the curtain as more and more behind-the-scenes images begin to surface. The first of these tantalizing new images showcases the instantly recognizable facade of Freddy's Fazbear Pizza, a location that has solidified its place as an icon in the hearts of our dedicated BTS fans. Our second image, once again, puts the spotlight on this famed establishment, this time casting it in an enigmatic nocturnal hue, with the luminous glow of Freddy's Pizza Place sign illuminating the scene in its emblematic neon fashion. It's a touch of nostalgia for those of us who've journeyed alongside this series from its early weeks, when we extensively covered the hustle and bustle at this very location. In the following batch of images, we catch a glimpse of a crew member's shirt featuring the film's working title and a clapperboard that played a crucial role during production. Recall that the Five Nights movie was shrouded in secrecy with the working title Bad Cupcake throughout its creative journey. And lastly, we have a delightful gem to share, a behind-the-scenes snack shot starring none other than the lovable Mr. Cupcake. According to Zio's Games 2, the individual who shared this BTS image, this is the very animatronic that the film's creators utilized for the upcoming movie. But wait, there's more to the story. Zio's Games is keeping the intrigue alive with a wealth of revelations, particularly concerning one of the most controversial aspects of the FNAF movie. However, it's important to note that we haven't been able to independently verify this information. So for now, let's dive into a segment we've affectionately dubbed with a pinch of salt. Now, before we dive into this segment, we've got to stress that what we're about to share should be taken with a sizable grain of salt. When Zio's Games dropped the tantalizing snack shot of Mr. Cupcake, they didn't stop there. They unleashed a wave of info that left us both intrigued and cautious. As you know, the Five Nights at Freddy's community has its faves, and apparently, the whole crew has a soft spot for none other than Mr. Cupcake. But here's where things get curious. The post doesn't spill the beans on whether it's Cupcake's role in the storyline or its endearing design that's won the hearts of the crew. But that's not the juiciest bit. CEO's Games also claims that our animatronic friends will be flaunting not one, not two, but a grand total of 4 different eye variants throughout the film. Yep, you heard that right. The animatronics sporting different eye states depending on the scene. The post even comes with an image that sheds light on their claim. Normally, we wouldn't report something like this if we didn't have 100% confirmation, hence why we told you to take this with a pinch of salt. However, this week, another crew member seemingly blew the whistle on the animatronics' now famous eyes, adding another layer to the mystery. Moving along a similar vein, the Five Nights movie has been met with a largely positive reception from the fanbase. The animatronics, the pizzeria's design, and the casting choices have all garnered applause. However, there's one aspect that has been met with near-universal criticism: the glowing red eyes. While much of the Five Nights at Freddy's adaptation seems to be aligning with what fans know from the games, a distinctive addition has emerged. The animatronics now sport eerie red eyes during the night. This departure from the source material hasn't been well received, with fans branding it goofy and even editing the visuals to eliminate the crimson glow. Although the storm of controversy has somewhat subsided since the introduction of the red eyes, which at one point dominated discussions on the game's subreddit, lingering dissent among fans still remains as the movie's premiere approaches. Despite the likelihood that this feature will remain unchanged for the film's release, it appears that an explanation for the phenomenon will be provided within the movie itself. A peek behind the curtain comes from an intriguing exchange on one of the Five Nights crew members' Instagram accounts. The conversation took flight when a commenter used the hashtag #MakeTheirEyesWhite on a recent post. In response, the crew member chimed in with an intriguing revelation, stating, "Watch the movie, it's explained." This exchange seems to confirm that the contentious issue that polarized the Five Nights community finds its place within the movie's plot, poised to be addressed. While it might not deliver the outcome desired by many fans, it does indicate that the enigma of the red eyes will indeed receive an explanation in the film. Whether this explanation will satisfy the fanbase remains uncertain until the movie's unveiling. Alright, let's dive into what could be the crown jewel of this week's revelations, the Empire magazine featurette that's stirring up a storm. This might just be the news story that keeps on giving, so buckle up as we journey through the juicy details that have Five Nights fans buzzing. Now, a leaked version of Empire's 2023 featurette on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, complete with an illuminating interview with director Emma Tammy, has made its way online. But hang tight, because we're stepping carefully around this topic, considering the legal curveball that's already brewing. Empire isn't shy about wielding its copyright protection, and we're in no rush to face their legal might. The scoop is, this featurette is slated to grace the special October edition of Empire magazine, which is all about horror, and will also shine a spotlight on Dune Part 2. A special bonus awaits horror aficionados, the Five Nights at Freddy's featurette, nestled within the 2023 horror section. A glorious cover showcasing a fusion of Freddy Fazbear and Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. Who knew we needed this bizarre yet fantastic mashup? That cover alone is worth the purchase. Now the big question, what gems did this featurette bestow upon us? For newcomers to the Five Nights universe, consider this your golden ticket. Think of it as your primer on the origins of this sensational franchise, a perfect introduction to the heart-pounding world that's captured the hearts of fans worldwide. The featurette takes its time to hold the hands of those who may be taking their first steps into the Five Nights universe, bringing them up to speed on the haunting origins of Freddy and his animatronic crew. Director Emma Tammy gets candid early in the featurette, spilling the beans on the inspirations that sparked the idea of bringing Five Nights to the grandeur of the big screen. Fast forward a bit, and Tammy delves into the meat of the matter, our main characters, Mike and Abby. When these two cross paths on the silver screen, they're far from a picture-perfect pair. They're dealing with their own skeletons, and that's the kind of complexity that makes for a gripping storyline. But let's talk about the real showstopper. The revelation about Steve Raglan, the man we love to hate or hate to love. Serial killer William Afton. According to Tammy, Matthew Lillard's portrayal of this nefarious character is a paradox of sorts, weirdly likable despite the darkness he exudes. She goes on to say the film isn't afraid to plunge into some seriously dark territory, which will music to the ears of many Five Nights purists. As if that wasn't enough to keep our curiosity piqued, there's more. The animatronics, those eerie yet mesmerizing creations, take center stage in this featurette. There's also a dash of Jim Henson's creature shop magic, and Tammy spills the beans about crafting the pizzeria, the iconic video game space, in all its practical glory. Now, this is where we must tread lightly to avoid any legal tussles. We're hinting at more without giving away too much. Trust us, if you're a Five Nights fanatic, getting your hands on the Empire magazine issue is must-read. Amidst a week brimming with leaks, it's astonishing to find yet another revelation surfacing online. This time, the spotlight is on a pre-production reel that offers a tantalizing glimpse into Blumhouse's highly anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Recalling our earlier report where Emma Tammy shed light on the disconnection between Mike and Abby, both grappling with their own past issues, this leak sheds further light, particularly on Abby's perspective. The leaked scene portrays a conversation between Abby and her babysitter, Max. While this specific footage won't find its way into the final film, the dialogue and script used are likely indicative of the story's direction. Let's dive into this intriguing scene.
Nice drawing. Ah, this cool girl looks familiar. Who are these punks?
My friends. It's not done yet.
All right, you can finish later. It's time to eat.
Not hungry.
Don't care.
Let's go. No!
Max, the day I'm having, just please come eat some dinner.
You're sitting on my friend. Move.
Abby, there's no one here.
He doesn't like you now.
You know what? Do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. But you should know what happens to little kids who don't eat their dinners. They stop growing, and their bodies stay the same size forever.
Awesome. Sounds fun.
It does. Except everything else keeps getting older. Their skin shrivels up, and their hair falls out, and they die without ever getting to ride the adult rides at the amusement park.
My friend says you're an idiot.
At least I'm real.
Naturally, a whirlwind of speculation has already begun surrounding this scene. A focal point of discussion is Abby's reference, with many speculating that she might be alluding to Golden Freddy, implying that the character is invisible to others. However, this theory falters slightly, given that Corey's reaction to Golden Freddy has been showcased in the trailers. A more coherent interpretation might suggest that Abby is communicating with a spirit, one that could eventually reveal itself in the iconic Golden Freddy suit. This line of thinking aligns better with the narrative. We're sure many of you have your own interpretations of this intriguing scene. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. We're eager to hear your take on what's unfolding here. As we conclude this week's edition of Behind the Scenes, we're gearing up for a thrilling event that's sure to make Five Nights fans' hearts race. Get ready to mark your calendars because it's time for the highly anticipated PAX West 2023. PAX West is the ultimate celebration of gaming and gaming culture, boasting an exciting lineup of thought-provoking panels, a colossal expo hall featuring top publishers and studios, exclusive game demos, unforgettable musical performances, intense tournaments, and a sense of community that's truly one of a kind. This year, the event is scheduled to take place from September 1st to September 4th, and guess who's joining the party? None other than Steelwolf Studios. While Help Wanted 2 is undoubtedly on everyone's radar, there's an additional surprise in store. As a tantalizing teaser, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie logo proudly graces the image associated with the event. What's the scoop? Could we be on the verge of a new trailer drop, sneak peeks of unseen visuals, or an exclusive unveiling of movie-related merchandise? Whether PAX brings about substantial revelations or keeps its secrets close, rest assured that SLUURP's behind the scenes will be your front row seat to all the action. Stay tuned, fellow enthusiasts, as we continue to provide you with comprehensive coverage and the latest updates on everything Five Nights at Freddy's, both on the silver screen and within the gaming realm. All right, Five Nights fans, before we dive into the secretive nitty-gritty that's been making the rounds online, let's address the animatronic in the room, the final full-length trailer for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Just a few days back, the rumor mill was buzzing, and when the trailer finally dropped, it's safe to say the FNAF community was ecstatic. Now, if you've been riding with us on this behind-the-scenes journey, you'll know we're all about the behind-the-scenes whispers and murmurs, not necessarily the trailer contents. But for those of you craving a deep dive into every eerie second, SLUURP has dissected it in a 20-minute special. Check the description. We dropped a link there for you. Historically, with every trailer drop, we've seen the cast and crew turn to social media, shedding light on their roles and adding to the frenzy. This time, though, strikes have made the rounds, silencing the usual buzz. Yet, Christian Stokes managed a cryptic shout-out, hinting at the community's dynamism without stepping over boundaries. Now, let's talk fan reactions. From what we've gauged, it might be the most well-received trailer yet. Our very own Connor did ponder if the amusing Mr. Cupcake scene might deter some fans hoping for a more mature tone, but feedback suggests the opposite. With Spring Bonnie's dramatic reveal, the community seems to be unanimously echoing, "This is cinema." We did have a curious observation. On Universal Pictures and Peacock's platforms, it's labeled as Official Trailer 2. But hop over to Blumhouse. It's boldly named the final trailer. Mistake or marketing mischief. With the movie's release looming, it wouldn't shock us if another trailer or a slew of web spots start flooding our feeds. And now, for a community pulse check, let's see how the SLUURP squad reacted. Over to our Discord channel. Donnie, share the vibes.
Drill Sergeant Jellyfish says every scene in that trailer made me cry tears of happiness. Emu Atori thought the trailer was absolutely amazing. Love the fact we got to see more of the animatronics. They look fantastic. I Love Spaghetti said the cupcake is scarier than I thought it would be. Agreed spaghetti lover, Gabriel Lucas Johnson has a lot to say, starting off by saying they loved the final trailer very much. They loved how the trailer showed more of an aggressive side to the characters, even with Carl taking down an entire intruder. And finally, the Bite of 80 Max said they loved it. Blumhouse did a fantastic job creating this final trailer, seeming as though the final product came out amazing, especially since it revealed a larger shot of Spring Bonnie, as well as more of the pizzeria.
A big shout out to our incredible community for sharing your insights. It's clear there's an overwhelming wave of positivity surrounding this trailer. If you're itching to get your thoughts featured in a future behind-the-scenes episode, don't wait. Check out the link in the description or simply scan the QR code on screen to dive straight into our Discord server. Join the conversation and be part of our ever-growing FNAF family. In a series aptly titled Behind the Scenes, it's only fitting that we've been treated to a bounty of behind-the-scenes photographs accompanying the new trailer. Flashback a few months, and many will recall how YouTubers Daco, Resboski, Baz, and 8-Bit Ryan got an exclusive sneak peek during the Five Nights movie production. As the release date looms closer, these YouTubers have been treating us with glimpses from their unique expedition. And let's just say, this latest set of images, quite possibly the most revealing ones yet. The star attractions here are undoubtedly the animatronics. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy are all showcased in their eerie glory. We've sung praises multiple times on this series, but it bears repeating. The collaboration between the Jim Henson Company and Blumhouse on these designs is simply masterful. One image in particular caught our attention, those infamous red eyes on both Chica and Bonnie. Contrary to the speculations that these were post-production edits, it turns out the animatronics were crafted with this very design. The practicality of it is great, with operators having the capability to toggle the eyes' modes based on scene requirements. With each new peek behind the curtain, our anticipation soars higher. As we inch closer to the film's release, we're bracing ourselves for even more sneak peeks, especially once the strikes conclude and we can finally hear from the film's cast. In news that's music to every Five Nights fans' ears, Universal Studios dropped a shocker. Freddy Fazbear and crew are making their debut at Halloween Horror Nights. If you're a regular on our BTS series, you know we've been buzzing about this potential crossover for what feels like forever. Universal's official Halloween Horror Nights Twitter account gave us a taste of the chills and thrills awaiting visitors this year at Universal Studios Hollywood. One of the highlights, a show aptly named Blumhouse Behind the Screams. Diving into the spine-chilling archives of Blumhouse Productions, the show promises an immersive experience into movies like Paranormal Activity, Black Phone, Invisible Man, and Insidious, The Red Door. Attendees will get a chance to venture through the silver screen, encountering authentic film props, mesmerizing costume displays, and some genuinely unsettling character encounters. Of course, the gaming community had one burning question: is the Five Nights at Freddy's universe part of the experience? To which Halloween Horror Nights cheekily responded, it sure does. Details remain tantalizingly scant, so it's anyone's guess what the Fazbear-themed part of the show will entail. But considering the Five Nights at Freddy's film releases on October 27th, the Blumhouse Behind the Screams spectacle might be the perfect sneak peek. Rest assured, as we uncover more, you'll be the first to be in the know. Hold onto your seats, folks, because this jam-packed episode keeps delivering. This time, we're taking a look at the film world's version of Fashion Week, the release of new movie posters. Universal and Blumhouse have indeed rolled out the red carpet, unveiling stunning character posters for the Five Nights movie. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Carl, and Foxy. They're all there, serving us major Fazbear frights into the pit vibes. Now a slight detour, let's talk about that logo. These posters unveil a bit of a twist on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie logo. And if anyone's been keeping count, we're clocking in about 1,000 logo variations for this film. I mean, what's up with that? Is this film in a logo identity crisis? Even the brand new international poster didn't shy away from joining a logo party with its own distinct design. But setting aside the logo roller coaster, can we take a moment to appreciate the sheer artistry of this poster? Hands down, this latest release is a visual treat. The animatronics look downright eerie, and that neon backdrop. It's the kind of ambience we call in the vernacular of today lit.
How are we doing, FNAF fans? No, your ears don't deceive you. This is Connor stepping in for Aiden this week. He's off on a little adventure. I think he's run out of oil or something. I'm holding down the fort to bring you all the latest and greatest from the world of Five Nights at Freddy's. For those just tuning in, be forewarned. We occasionally spill some light movie spoilers, so consider this your friendly heads up. Alright, let's deep dive into the mesmerising world of Five Nights and uncover those tantalising behind the scenes secrets together. The mystery of the FNAF movie runtime. Last week, rumours spread faster than Foxy on a caffeine rush. Whispers of a marathon-esque 3-hour movie had everyone's eyebrows raised. I mean, we love our animatronic escapades, but that's a lot, right? Our trusty Sultan of SLUURP, Aiden, casted a doubtful gaze at those rumours, even when every FNAF movie news account shared the rumours. But now, our pals at AMC Theatres have dished the official tea. Five Nights at Freddy's is set for a neat 1 hour and 50 minutes. That's prime horror territory if you ask me. Not too short to leave you wanting, but not too long that you're checking your watch. For comparison's sake, it's sitting pretty alongside The Nun 2, and a tad shorter than The Exorcist Believer hitting theatres soon. On another note, AMC has also put a stamp on the PG-13 rating, something we've been chirping about for quite a while now. It's clear FNAF aims to draw a wider crowd. Sure, a PG-13 rating might raise a few purist eyebrows, but let's be honest, a broader audience appeal means more people supporting the franchise that we love. Roll out the red carpet and prepare the tea, because we're diving into a news tidbit that might have you chuffed to bits, or downright miffed. All depends on where you call home. The nitty-gritty of it is straight from the horse's mouth. Universal Pictures UK has spilled the beans. Blumhouse's Five Nights movie will grace UK cinemas on October 25th. Do the math. That's a cheeky 2 days earlier than our transatlantic pals. Now, no need for MI6 level intelligence to verify this. A quick glance at the Odeon website, one of the UK cinema giants, confirms the scoop. While my accent might already be a giveaway, this is particularly stellar news for yours truly. Yes, you may have won the Revolutionary War, but we were playing the long game. Jokes aside, fans outside of the UK might be clutching their pearls, fearing the internet will explode with spoilers before they even step into their local movie house. We can't deny this. It's a real pickle. So if you're keen on keeping the film's secrets under wraps, you might want to give social media a miss until you've seen it. Now, for the $64,000 question. Just why are we, the bean-munching, tea-chugging, in-it-bruv-ing fans, getting an early peek of this highly anticipated gem? One reason could be the October half-term, a short break from the 23rd to 27th of October. No rocket science here. Releasing the movie bang in the middle means more bums and seats. Big franchise films like Marvel have done this before. But hold on, there's another piece of the puzzle. Over in the States, Five Nights is set to hit Peacock streaming and theatres on October 27th, but on this side of the pond, Peacock's a no-show. Sure, there's a tie-up with Sky and Now TV in the UK, but after some detective work, Five Nights is eerily missing from their lineup. Is this some kind of shrewd move by Blumhouse to combat piracy? It very well could be. Either way, I'm certainly not complaining. Alright SLUURP heads, the rumour mill has been churning, and as always, we're here to scoop out every last drop. If you've been keeping those peepers locked on this channel, and let's face it, why wouldn't you? You'll know that Universal's Halloween Horror Nights and our favourite animatronic posse are about to collide in a nightmarish explosion of frights. And boy oh boy does it seem like Freddy and the gang are planning to crash this year's party. Now, the talk of the town, a fresh trailer that made its debut at the Behind the Screens show. We've got Blumhouse to thank for this exclusive 30-second gem, but enough preamble, let's get to the trailer.
Welcome to Freddy's. Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Freddy. Bonnie. Chica. Foxy.
Giant robots murdering innocent people? You think you should maybe tell me about that?
While it parallels the official trailer in many aspects, the devil's in the details. The scene between Bonnie and Hank is extended, giving us a little bit more to ponder on. And did anybody else catch the switcheroo in the ball pit? Instead of Bonnie being the creep, it's Foxy playing peekaboo with Abby. Plus, a fresh shot of Mike adds another layer to the mix. It's not a revelation in trailer form, but for the hardcore fans, these morsels of content are always a treat. Now it's time to pivot and delve into what else Halloween Horror Nights has in store. For all you Freddy fanatics out there, the pinnacle of Halloween Horror Nights might just be the opportunity to rub shoulders with our beloved animatronic quartet. That's right folks, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy have officially checked in to the attraction, and they're not here to play. Perched proudly beside them is a plaque proclaiming their authenticity. This revelation hints that these very well might be the guards our human stars donned, rather than the fully mechanized animatronics themselves. Personally, I've got a lot of envy knowing I won't witness these legends in the flesh. But for those of you lucky enough to be in the vicinity, the Blumhouse Behind the Screens show is yours for the taking. Mark those calendars, because the haunt is open on select nights from September 7th, culminating in a spooktacular finale on October 31st. If you're brave enough, go say hi to the gang for me, will ya? With each new reveal, the anticipation for the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie just grows and grows. This week, a captivating behind-the-scenes photo has everyone talking. While we've been treated to several looks of Freddy in the past, this one is different. Set medic Garen Sparks shared the fresh look on his Instagram. I've gotta say, this might be the most perfect photo I've ever laid my eyes on. Seriously, look at Freddy. This has all the makings of a future meme template. Freddy appears pristine, a stark contrast to the worn-out, battle-hardened animatronic we've grown accustomed to on this behind-the-scenes series. The divergence has led to a frenzy of speculation amongst the FNAF community. Is this a sneak peek at an early concept version of Freddy? Could it represent a different point in the movie's timeline, perhaps a flashback to the glory days of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza? Or maybe, just maybe, it's a totally different version or costume meant to throw us off the scent. Whichever the case, the community is buzzing with theories. This cleaner and more polished look for Freddy could be a clue, a red herring, or simply a fun BTS moment shared by the production team. We're keeping our eyes peeled for more insights, and in the meantime, we'd love to hear your thoughts and theories. What's the story behind this Pristine Freddy? Dive into the comments and share your take. As anticipation for the release of the Five Nights movie grows stronger, there's one looming question on everyone's mind. Where on earth is the merch at? Typically by this point in the film's pre-release timeline, shelves would be teeming with tie-in merchandise, offering eager fans additional insights into the movie. But at last, it seems we're seeing some stirrings in this area. Our first stop, Scarlet Joker. Known to be a dedicated Funko fanatic and news reporter, Joker has announced that the official Funko merchandise linked to the movie are in the pipeline. The specifics? Well, that remains a mystery for now. Joker's exact words were, "No word on what or how many yet, but it's coming." This brings us to you, our audience. What are you hoping to see in the upcoming line? Let us know in those comments below. And if you thought that was all, think again. We've also caught wind of an upcoming release, titled The Art and Making of Five Nights at Freddy's. the movie. Described as a lavish, jacketed hardcover, a splendid addition to any bookshelf or coffee table, it promises readers an intimate look at the film's creation process. From animatronic designs and early prototypes to never-seen-before photographs and storyboards. A deep dive into the costume designs, a virtual tour of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and much more. This guide seems indispensable for every Freddy Fazbear fan out there. This specific announcement has me buzzing with excitement. This is like a complete no-brainer purchase. Especially for a film that's been trapped in development limbo for nearly a decade, it's bound to be brimming with juicy details. But here's the catch. And it's a big one. This treasure trove won't be available until August 20th, 2024. Yes, you heard that right. We've got a whole year of anticipation ahead of us before we can lay our hands on this gem. Okay, SLUURP heads, let's kick off this episode of Behind the Scenes in true style with, you guessed it, a behind the scenes photo from the set of the FNAF movie. The Twitterverse, Xverse, was set into frenzy this week thanks to a captivating snap that offers a peek into the making of the now iconic scene. We're of course talking about Abby and Golden Freddy standing hand in hand outside of the pizzeria. To our loyal followers, does that ring a bell? Yeah, this is the exact shot they gave us in our inaugural glimpse of the FNAF movie. Plus, eagle-eyed fans might have caught this at the tail end of a trailer or two. So, where did this gem emerge from? Twitter user, X user, whatever we're calling it. EntomDP is their name, and they certainly know how to stir the pot. The caption on this post was honestly pretty hilarious. They mentioned discovering the photo on some random dude's Instagram. Not a filmmaker, just a regular guy who somehow made it onto set. You know, there's something about these behind the scenes glimpses that always excites me. As we inch closer to the film's release, I've got a hunch we're going to be showered with more and more of these tantalizing teasers. Here's a fun, yet mildly terrifying thought. We're nearing a world post-FNAF movie release. Can you even imagine this series in that timeline? FNAF Movie 2 behind the scenes, let's go! Regardless, once the actor strike comes to an end, and here's hoping that's soon, I bet we see a barrage of these kinds of posts from the cast, pulling back the curtain on their experience during production. So keep your eyes glued to this series, because we ain't slowing down anytime soon. I've got a piping hot bunny nugget for ya. Straight from Cinemark Theatre's floor, a larger-than-life cardboard cutout standee display for our most anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Now, you might be thinking, Connor, are you for real? Every piece of marketing material that lands in theaters is news now? Well, if you keep watching the show, then heck yes. But there's actually a twist in this tale, or should I say arm. Bonnie's missing a whole damn limb on this standee. Did somebody say law? It feels like a cheeky teaser for what's coming. Ready for his close-up in the sequel, maybe? For those diving deep into FNAF history, it echoes back to Withered Bonnie, the OG pre-revamped version from FNAF 2. But remember, that game was technically a prequel. Will the movies follow suit, or would that just muddy the waters? I'm leaning towards a fresh start for Bonnie, a gradual transition, weathering a way across the movie trilogy, which we know is planned. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Is Weathered Bonnie a hint of what's to come? Or maybe this cardboard cutout just lost a limb in transport? And between me and you, am I stretching, or does this smell like a legit teaser for Withered Bonnie? Alright, before we get to the meat and potatoes, Governor, here's a tasty appetizer for you. Remember when we chatted about Freddy and the gang making a grand appearance at Blumhouse's Behind the Screens at Hollywood Horror Nights? Well, hold on to your party hats because this week a snippet started making the rounds. In this clip we hear from the attraction's narrator or tour guide or whatever fancy title they're rocking, and they drop a bombshell. The real tangible movie animatronics that are the star of the show, the talented folks at Jim Henson's Creature Shop took a whopping 15 months to put them together.
Yes, they are real. These are the authentic screen-used animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's. It took 15 months to construct. They were made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. So please look, don't touch.
Given the near eternity, okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but it feels that way, that this movie's been cooking in the oven, I should have seen that coming. The sheer dedication and craft poured into these iconic characters, it's tangible, it leaps out, and I mean, come on, who isn't chuffed that they went old school with these practical effects for the animatronics? It's like a love letter to classic horror. But wait, we've still got more behind the scenes details on these animatronics, and who better to spill the beans than the director of the movie herself? Come on then, why don't we find out what she's got to say? Okay, SLUURP heads, before we dive deep into the treasure trove that is the physical print issue of Total Film, we've got some online exclusive goodness from the outlet to unpack, and don't fret, we'll get to that print goldmine soon enough. First off, we got a brand new exclusive look at Five Nights at Freddy's in all of its cinematic glory. Josh Hutcherson's Mike holding Abby in a tight protective hug, their faces filled with unfiltered terror. Whatever's going down in the movie in this moment, it's got our leads spooked out of their mind, and I can't wait to see it unfold on the big screen. Not long to go. Elsewhere in this internet exclusive, Emma Tammy, the director of the movie, dished out some intriguing details about the film's cinematography. She said,
"Also, just the haunted house element of it was such a big influence. Some of our scenes that have to do with our main character's backstory and memory were also influenced by a Terrence Malick-esque camera style to give them a more dreamlike quality. Those scenes that were taking place in forest campground settings. There were a lot of different types of references we were pulling to really craft something that felt unique."
The gears in my head are spinning. With Tammy's words in mind, those mysterious sequences in the trailers where Hutcherson seems to be haunted by ghost kids are now making a little bit more sense. The fandom's been a buzz suggesting that these might be the dreamlike sequences that Tammy's talking about. Now let's turn our attention to the wonderful print edition of Total Film magazine. I totally didn't spend hours running around the city in the rain to find this. But enough with my escapades. Let's dive into the juicy details, shall we? In the print magazine, Tammy explains that her introduction into the FNAF universe came with Jason Blum's ringing endorsement, who believes she'd be the right fit for the movie adaptation. An amusing anecdote from Tammy was her unfamiliarity with the game itself. Though she had a Chuck E. Cheese experience under her belt, Tammy goes on to explain her approach with the animatronics. They should exude a sense of eeriness, enough to make your skin crawl. Simultaneously, they're to be alive, magical, and even hilariously goofy and awkward. Balancing these elements is indeed no child's play, and Tammy acknowledges the struggle to find the right blend throughout the storyline. Diving deep into the making of this film, Tammy discusses the movie's collaboration with the Jim Henson Company to create these real monsters. It's not just about nostalgia for the 80s and 90s films, but about bringing an authentic touch to the movie. Real animatronics, real scares. The puppeteer team received high praise from Tammy, though she cheekily compares the animatronics to high-maintenance actors, given the technical limitations they come with. She specifically says,
"I say high maintenance because there's only a certain amount of time that servos can operate before you risk blowing them out."
Drawing from a vast pool of cinematic greats, Tammy shared her inspirations. From Spielberg's endearing charm to the somber tones of Joker, with a dash of Terrence Malick's visionary camera work, the movie aims to be a visual and emotional spectacle. Tammy wants the audience to be pleasantly surprised, promising a film that's dark, supernatural, zany, emotional, and of course, scary. Okay. So what are the major takeaways from this interview? Emma Tammy taking the reins of Five Nights at Freddy's could be a risky choice in the eyes of some fans. After all, she wasn't initially a Freddy's fan, but we have to remember, Scott Cawthon is in the writer's seat, and that does enough to comfort me. Now here's a point I'm sticking to. Major respect for the commitment to the animatronics. Even with the technical limitations that Tammy was speaking about, it's heartening to see that despite the rise of CGI, Blumhouse and Tammy chose the authentic route with the animatronics. It's a throwback to the movies many of us grew up with, and adds tangible depth to the horror. And I'll tell you what, Tammy's comments about the film's tone definitely sparked my interest. I've been banging on about a Gremlins-esque horror approach, and I actually feel like it might be on the horizon. This unique thematic blend might be exactly what this franchise needs in this cinematic rendition. All in all, the anticipation is high. If this movie delivers half of what Tammy promises, fans and newcomers alike are in for such a treat. After that mammoth news story, let's dive into a snappier piece that'll surely get the hearts of all you terminally online FNAF fans racing. And thinking about it, if you're a FNAF fan, the terminally online part is kinda redundant, huh? I tease. Ever heard of Giphy? For the uninitiated, it's the awesome spot for all those quirky GIFs when you can't think of a text response. This week, Giphy leveled up by launching an official FNAF movie page, bustling with brand new GIFs. This means fresh new animated glimpses of our favourite animatronic pals and more. As Chica's self-declared #1 fan, brace yourselves, I'm using this GIF everywhere. Every single internet scenario. Prepare yourself for Chica GIF overload. SLUURP heads, before we draw the curtains on another week of behind-the-scenes adventures, let's cap things off with one final piece of news that's got me buzzing and grooving. This week, the grapevine has it that the Newton brothers are teaming up with the iconic Tyler Bates to craft the musical score for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Wondering where you've been graced by this harmonious touch before? Well, this dynamic duo is no stranger to the world of horror and spine-tingling melodies. They've lent their talents to movies like Dr. Sleep and Hush, and for those who have been binge-watching from the comfort of their couches, you'd recognise their work from Netflix to Haunting of Hill House. A film score isn't just background noise, it's the heart and soul of the frickin' movie. It shapes the mood, builds tension, and guides our emotions throughout the narrative. A good score can elevate a scene from memorable to legendary. And in the world of horror, it can be the difference between a mere jump scare and a sleepless night. Personally, after being absolutely enchanted and slightly terrified by their work on Dr. Sleep, which was brimming with eeriness and tension, I'm hyped to hear what the Newton brothers will bring to the table for FNAF. If their past masterpieces are anything to go by, we're in for a real auditory treat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just as I was about to start recording this week's episode of Behind the Scenes, another breaking news story dropped. I couldn't help but start with this story because honestly, it's probably the biggest information dump we've got about this movie so far. So what's the deal? Well, a production information document for Blumhouse's upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie has been released by Universal. I want to express again some caution. While we don't get major spoilers in terms of twists and reveals, we do find out quite a lot about the main cast of characters. This document is absolutely massive, so we've done our best to summarise this in a way that highlights all the major new information that we haven't previously covered. Okay, so I want to get to the real meat and potatoes of this document, and that's really the section subtitled The Characters. Let's start with our leading lad, Josh Hutcherson. Hutcherson plays Mike, a former security guard juggling the responsibility of being the guardian to his younger sister Abby. When he takes an overnight watchman job at the haunted Freddy Fazbear's pizzeria, his life takes a chilling turn. So far so good, right? Seems like everything we've seen portrayed in the trailers. But here's where it gets juicy. When Mike was 12, his younger brother Garrett was taken by an unknown man from a park while Mike and his parents were only yards away. Mike has been haunted by the event and searching for his brother and his brother's kidnapper ever since, even in his dreams. Man, oh man, this is great stuff. It confirms a lot of the theories we had, but it also sets up exactly how the story will play out in this movie adaptation. I mean, the kidnapper is 100% William Afton, right? But then, I still have questions, because what does Afton do with the kids? How will it all link back to Freddy's and the pizzeria? Also, is there a chance that Mike's younger brother is still alive in some form, somewhere in Freddy's? Oh my god. So much to think about. It's time to switch gears and look at Vanessa, who will be played by Elizabeth Lale. She's a local police officer acquainted with the mysteries surrounding Freddy Fazbear's. Very interesting. Why do you know so much, Vanessa? Her initial skepticism towards Mike, the new hire with an unfortunate tendency to doze off, gradually transforms into empathy and alliance. Vanessa emerges as a beacon of support for Mike as he delves deeper into the pizzeria's secrets. I think most of us in the FNAF community think something sus is going on with Vanessa, right? So it's interesting here that this document seemingly portrays that she doesn't have a ulterior motive. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to hide their true intentions, but it's definitely something to think about. Okay, now let's look at Piper Rubio. 10-year-old Abby, portrayed by the gifted Rubio, stands central to Mike's life, not just as his sister, but as a ward under his shaky guardianship. The film cleverly intertwines Abby's imaginative artwork with eerie occurrences at Freddy's, leading the siblings on a journey to uncover the truth behind the animatronics. Nothing particularly new here, but I'm definitely interested to see Abby's art in the movie. Now let's look at Jane and Maxine, played by Mary Stuart Masterson and Kat Connor Sterling, respectively. Jane is the siblings' overbearing aunt, frequently clashing with Mike over his guardianship of Abby, hinting at hidden intentions. What is this Karen up to? Remember when we first heard about this character? It was through the reveal that her name was Jane Afton. This is a character we haven't seen anything from in the marketing materials, so I'm super interested to see more from her. Of course, we've got to end with none other than William Afton. Steve Raglan, played by the amazing Matthew Lillard. Lillard's portrayal of Steve, a career counsellor, introduced Mike to the daunting job at Freddy's. The character's malevolent undertones make Steve's role pivotal, steering Mike into the eerie pizzeria. Obviously, they're trying to keep some kind of secrecy around who and what Raglan really is, and I'm kind of here for it. It'll be fun to see how the general public and non-FNAF fans react to Afton's, Raglan's true intentions. Ooh, I told you that was pretty dense. I did my best to summarize the major plot takeaways, but if you wanted to read this whole thing in detail, there's going to be a link for that down in the description. We're going to circle back to this document later in the episode, but before we do, why don't we check out some more behind-the-scenes news? Alright, gather round ladies and gentlemen, we can't believe we're actually gonna say this, but as of today, tickets for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie are now, unbelievably, officially on sale. The announcement came from Regal. The post said, "Can you survive? Get tickets to Five Nights at Freddy's on October 1st, which is the same tagline slapped onto the poster. I have to pinch myself making sure I'm not dreaming. In fact, do me a favour, if you see me in the streets, give me a pinch too. It won't be the last time I say this in this behind the scenes episode, but drumroll please. I honestly can't believe this is happening." So there you go, SLUURP heads. Tickets are now on sale. We'll be sure to update you on how sales are going as we lead up to the release of the movie, but until then, I gotta find out. Are you planning to watch the movie in theaters or curled up on your couch, streaming it on Peacock? Leave a comment below and let us know. Buckle up, because the floodgates have opened. Remember when we touched on those 3 new TV spots in last week's episode? Well, once that episode hit the airwaves, Universal went all out. Seriously. Every time I refreshed Twitter, X, whatever, another TV spot had made its way onto the internet. There were literally new trailers popping out of Universal's Wazoo. If you're watching this BTS episode, you're likely a mega fan of FNAF, which means you've probably caught some of these TV spots in the wild web. I won't deep dive into each one, because if I did, it would probably be like a 60-minute episode. If you want to spend some time looking over the TV spots yourself, we're going to link them all in the description down below. For the most part, these TV spots tread familiar ground, echoing the story beats from the official and teaser trailers. They're playing it close to the chest with plot details, which is okay with me. It means we get to unravel the mystery on the big screen. So while the plot remains cloaked in shadows, we were treated to a smorgasbord of fresh new shots and scenes. And man oh man, can we talk about Spring Bonnie? The transition to the big screen, I mean, it's just perfect. And then I also have to highlight this shot, because honestly, it's so fucking goofy, and I love it. I feel this is destined to become FNAF meme gold. With the countdown to the movie premiere in full swing, I bet my lucky socks we haven't seen the last of the TV and web spots. Stay tuned, because when we hear more, you'll be the first to know. Grab some popcorn because there's been a late-minute plot twist. Anyone who's been following the production of the Five Nights movie, or even if you've browsed the comments of the first teaser trailer, you'd know that the reveal of the animatronics having red eyes was pretty controversial. After the storm of online backlash from the first two teasers, those glaring red eyes were barely used in any of the marketing material since. Most of the promos we saw after, think of a more muted yellowish glow. So, of course, the rumour mill went into overdrive, suggesting that maybe the red eyes have got the boot, kinda like Sonic's makeover after fan outcry. Eye-gate doesn't stop there though, because this week a new poster for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie dropped, first spotted on Rotten Tomatoes, and brace yourself, the infamous red eyes have now been replaced. And you want to know the ironic part of all of this? A lot of fans were pissed about this change, arguing that the red eyes were actually the better choice. Oh, the FNAF community are not real people, I swear. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm so over all of this eye discourse. Could they impact the film? Sure. If they're not done right, they could come off as silly and not scary. But we're on the cusp of the movie's release, so I'm just gonna sit tight, reserve my judgment, and take it all in once the theatre lights dim. I feel like it was just yesterday we kicked off this behind the scenes series, and now, after a rollercoaster 7 months, it's actually happened. People, real, living, breathing people, have watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and I hate them. It should have been me, goddammit! Is my jealousy showing? You heard it right. Critics had their golden ticket moment this week, attending the first ever press screenings for FNAF. Eager to know what they thought? Well, pump the brakes, because there's an embargo on reactions and reviews. But trust me, once the embargo lifts, you'll be the first to hear their opinion. Many in the FNAF community speculated that we might be looking at a Mario movie situation. Lukewarm critic reviews where it's fans and the general public singing the movie's praises. But here's a twist. Universal screening the movie for critics with a whole month still on the clock might be a beacon of hope. I mean, if you're confident about your product, why not show it off early, right? Alternatively, again, if Universal decides to play it close to the vest and keep the review embargo locked until the last few days before the release, well, that might be a little hint of their expectations. Every day without a lifted embargo, that might mean the Rotten Tomatoes score could be taking a hit. This is certainly juicy, and we'll have to see which way it goes. We'll be following the story and updating you as we get closer to the release of Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's finally circle back to that document as I said we would. I couldn't help but include this as we finally got our first interview in sorts with the main star of the movie, Josh Hutcherson. I think some of us were concerned we wouldn't hear from Hutcherson given the fact that the studios have continually refused to give actors and writers a fair deal, meaning the strikes have been ongoing. It looks like these strikers might finally be getting a win we've all wanted, but this document is careful to clarify that all actor and writer interviews were conducted prior to the SAG and WGA labour strikes. Okay, enough build-up. Let's get into what Hutcherson had to say in this interview. First up, it's revealed that before joining the film, Hutcherson wasn't familiar with the game, but he quickly delved into the universe. He said,
"The game is very creepy, very intense, and then I saw the fandom and the lore behind it, and it's just out of this world."
You can say that again, Josh. I kinda like the idea of him sitting at home watching MatPat videos in preparation for him joining the franchise. Discussing the approach of the film, Hutcherson emphasises the character-driven narrative amid the supernatural elements.
Mike's a guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's acting as this father figure, while at the same time dealing with his own deeply personal trauma.
I feel that Hutcherson has got such a great grasp on the character. Honestly, I think he's going to be the perfect Mike. Regarding the animatronics used in the movie, Hutcherson is full of admiration.
Watching them come to life was incredible. They have this texture and quality that only Henson can do. As an actor, you actually get something physical and real to interact with. My character is supposed to be haunted by these things. And now I have a creature in front of me that, in the right light, is terrifying.
Oh man, I love this so much. Just like we've been banging on about for weeks, this movie is going to benefit so much from having practical animatronics. It's really going to elevate the movie in a way that full CGI renders wouldn't. But as expressed from Hutcherson, this must have been such a great scenario for the actors in the movie, likely helping their overall performance. It's great to finally hear from Arm Mike. If the studios finally decide to stop being massive tossers and agree to a fair deal that the SAG members deserve, then maybe we'll hear more from Josh and the rest of the crew before the movie's release later this month. Slurpheads, just when we thought Emma Tammy was done spilling the tea, she's back at it again. If you missed our last episode of Behind the Scenes, you may have missed our deep dive into Tammy's tell-all interview with Total Film magazine. Seriously, this had a lot of reveals, but don't sweat it, we've got a link to that episode and the highlights down below. But now Tammy's at it again, lighting the rumour fuse with a feature in October's issue of Rumours magazine. Apart from the tantalising tease of a FNAF movie 2, the mag boasts a 9 years of Five Nights retrospective, and even a juicy piece centred around the buzzing Five Nights fandom. For us BTS aficionados, there's a full-blown segment on the FNAF movie. For starters, the interview sets the scene for FNAF newbies, a quick origin story of the Five Nights phenomenon and the movie's journey from concept to big screen. Here's where it gets intriguing. Tabby, known for her horror chops, infuses the film with her dark spin on FNAF's eerie charm. But the article says don't expect a full-blown horror fest. The mag clarifies that Tammy's captured the game's playful yet creepy tone, ensuring the film doesn't just drown in doom and gloom. Elsewhere, the article touches on the difficulties of keeping the giant 6-foot animatronic monsters away from the prying eyes of fans and the press. I almost feel like our behind-the-scenes series is somewhat under attack here. Here is what Tammy had to say about it.
We really were hoping that these elements in the movie that we knew the fan base would be so excited about would remain a secret until the film came out, or until we revealed them in a preview. They're huge. It was challenging to keep everything under wraps.
Now the icing on the cake? Sequel talks. This is big, especially since the last hint of a movie sequel was when Matthew Lillard hinting he signed on for a free picture deal. Here's what Tammy had to say.
I should be so lucky to be able to be involved in any sequel film. That would be incredible. I love it.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Blumhouse will likely want to see some dollar bills before greenlighting anything. It all hinges on the box office numbers and those Peacock viewing stats. But yes, it is heartwarming to see Tammy's passion for the project. Often directors crave fresh new adventures after immersing in one project for so long. So while Tammy's playing coy, one thing's clear. She really loves the FNAF universe. Okay, Slurpheads, I promised you some juice last week, didn't I? Well, strap in because today's tea is scorching. Honestly, it's probably one of the most important news stories we have and ever will cover on this series. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie release is creeping up on us, and guess what? Some fans are biting their nails in apprehension due to the latest developments surrounding the film's review embargo. Here's the scoop. Discussing films, Jacob Fisher confirmed and said that the exact time and date the review embargo would lift for the movie would be Friday, October 27th, 3 AM. In a since updated report, Horror Movie Insider Critical Overload contradicted this, pointing to October 26th at 3 AM. Whichever day it is, one thing's glaringly clear. The film will have already hit theaters in places like the UK and Mexico by the time these reviews are even allowed to see the light of day. If you missed last week, here's a crash course. Studios brimming with confidence about their film usually lift embargoes way in advance. It's to show strength. Good reviews fuel ticket sales. Think about movies that get seen at festivals months before the planned release date. So what's the inverse? Well, delayed embargoes often hint at a studio bracing for a storm of bad press. But holding back critics when a movie's already out? That's more than odd, folks. It's practically unheard of. Fans are obviously quite worried about this. Movie pundits such as John Campier have even responded, pretty vocally, explaining why this is such a bad situation.
It's not just a red flag. I'll go one step further. This is despicable behavior. Guys, I'm sorry, but this is the studio trying to con you. This is the studio hiding stuff from you. Can you imagine if Apple released a new product and said, yeah, but the tech reviewers, you're not allowed to review the thing until after it goes on sale, because we don't want people to hear that it's not good. We want to dupe people. We want to con people. We want to swindle people and not let them have the opportunity to hear some critical analysis of the film before you spend your money on it. Guys, don't listen to anybody. Just listen to the millions of dollars that we put into a marketing campaign, and just listen to this finely crafted piece of propaganda that we've made to convince you to give us your money. Don't listen to anybody else. It's horrible.
I can't lie to you. The Doomerist inside of me is screaming, we are about to make history, with this being the Room levels of bad. But look, this is a movie we've all been excited for. Are there any reasons to be positive? Well, actually yes. The ever-observant Fisher, who broke the news, made an interesting point. He noted that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie hits Peacock streaming the same day it releases in theaters. Now, streaming servers do love their simultaneous release embargo dance. Case in point, the Blumhouse strategy for Halloween Ends, which is actually a movie Blumhouse has previously spotlighted. As they said, Universal is emulated Halloween Ends with their release of Five Nights. The review embargo for this Blumhouse movie also lifted on the same day it opened in theaters and simultaneously on Peacock. Although, I'm not too sure if that's a good thing, given the critic and audience scores for that movie. Doom O'Connor, stop. We're staying positive, we're staying positive, we're staying positive. Some fans have argued that maybe, just maybe, the late embargo is designed to shield the intricate lore of the Five Nights franchise from early spoilers. Don't say it, Doom O'Connor. Don't say it, Doom O'Connor. Don't say it, Doom O'Connor. Fuck it. While I wish this was true, if this was really something the studio cared about, we wouldn't be getting the movie early in some countries. In our social media driven culture, spoilers are going to be everywhere in seconds. Look, I know this is a bitter pill to swallow so close to release day, but I want to touch on a sentiment I've seen floating around, summed up by a comment on one of our BTS highlights. Here's what it said. People shouldn't listen to critics. Our opinions as fans matter. We should be the critics for them. Remember, everyone don't listen to what critics have to say, and most of the time they're wrong, so screw them, and I think it's gonna be amazing. No matter what the critics say, I'm going in excited, and I'm gonna watch this movie with an open mind. But that doesn't mean the critics' opinions are invalid. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't represent some sort of cabal of critics in the dark shadows planning to hate on your favourite franchise. Ultimately, they watch way more movies than most of us, so it's very likely they will have views that differ from the general population. I honestly think it's kind of ridiculous that some fans are going into this already dismissing whatever the critical response will be, because they know this movie's gonna be amazing. You haven't seen the movie yet. I mean, the amount of people out there who take a difference of opinion about something subjective as a personal insult is staggering to me. So in closing, if movie critics end up hating Five Nights and you end up loving it, here's a spoiler. That's a good thing. You liked the movie. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. In other news, let's move on to a news story that could actually contradict everything previously said about the critic embargo. Yes, I'm evil. Okay, wow, that was a pretty heavy news story, eh? I know that many of you that haven't completely lost their minds by this point will be pretty nervous about the review embargo releasing so late. After all, history does indicate that this says something about the studio's faith in the movie, but I reckon it's time to sprinkle a little sunshine on the FNAF parade. Amongst the doomerism that has been spreading across social media, two FNAF insiders that have featured quite a lot on this show have been attempting to keep the positivity alive. The first is none other than Entom DP, who amongst the release embargo controversy took to Twitter to say, "I haven't done a post like this in a while, but I got permission from a source of mine to share this. Test screenings for the FNAF movie had a positive reception. Audiences thought it was great." This was further supported by the Gandalf of FNAF News, Johnny Blocks, who reposted Entom's tweet alongside a statement that read, "I'm very delighted to hear the news, and I can also confirm its validity." Now, while it's a tad unclear about the number of sources backing this feel-good news, it's a sigh of relief amongst a whirlwind of doomerous predictions. As the movie inches closer to its Peacock and theatre debut, our best bet is to hunker down, stay open, and find out what the reception is upon the release of the movie. Oh, here we go. Alright, SLUURP heads, after taking a deep dive into some dense FNAF waters, how about a cheeky swim over to another river? Yes, how about a little palate cleanser? No chica, I'm not talking about pizza, you cheeky little thing. With news stories changing minute by minute in relation to this movie, I think the best way to cover all of the hottest happenings regarding FNAF movie news is with a speed round. Let's kick things into overdrive and see how many bite-sized news nibbles we can chew on. My god, I'm gonna have so many outtakes for this. Ready? Let's go. We got a brand new FNAF movie poster variant. This one's showcasing those eerie red eyes and a little sneak of Josh Hutcherson. Although, I've got to say, the design a tad on the questionable side. I don't know who okayed this, it's pretty ugly. There's an official Snapchat filter now. Get up close and personal with the film's animatronic renders. Slap on some AR tech and you've got animatronics creeping around your living room or bedroom, wherever you really want them. Insomnia Cookies is jumping on the hype train, delivering a tasty treat called Freddy Fazbear's Cookie Pizza. Talk about a perfect palate cleanser. Pop up Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location has sprung to life on Sunset Boulevard. The twist, you can't go inside. It's meant to be a rundown, insta-worthy backdrop. Snap away, slurpheads. The SAG saga rages on. Studio bigwigs are still casting themselves as the complete tossers they are, not giving the actors what they deserve. This means the likelihood of cast doing press for the movie is looking, well, pretty unlikely. The inspiration behind Five Nights at Freddy's Chuck E. Cheese is serving up its own spooky season special. Five Nights of Fun, their event poster? Where have I seen this before? But here's a zinger. Leaked event rules highlight a staunch don't mention FNAF policy. Yep, their employees cannot mention the Five Nights IP at all. Since then, it's also been revealed that some Chuck E. Cheese employees feel that the FNAF community has been harassing them at work, which is, honestly, pretty stupid. Don't do that. Oh wow, how did I do? Well, you already know there's going to be like another 10 news stories that drop by the time this hits YouTube, right? Alright Slurp heads, it's time for the moment we've all been chomping at the bit for. New York Comic Con was buzzing with energy on Thursday night when Blumfest 2023 took the spotlight. The main man, Jason Blum, commander-in-chief of the renowned budget horror studio, laid down some juicy tidbits on what's simmering in their horror cauldron. And boy did our hearts skip a beat when Emma Tammy, the director of the Five Nights movie, graced the stage. During the panel, a never-seen-before clip was showed to those in attendance. It reportedly featured Mike watching an eerie Freddy security tape training video. Tammy dropped some pearls too, after a nod to Jim Henson's team for their wicked practical special effects. She dropped some tea on the wonderful Matthew Lillard. Apparently Lillard's kiddos are big FNAF aficionados. The most gasp-worthy part of Blumfest? Emma Tammy spilling a bit of tea about a secret movie character. Roll the clip.
But I know as the director, there's some stuff that you just put in there and they're like, this is gonna be. Can you give us a preview of one of those moments that folks can sort of come? Because there's things that were all like. Spoiler? Not a spoiler. More of like, hey, if you are a fan of this in the game, you might see something about this in the movie that you're excited about, or just like a little amuse-bouche of what the real Five Nights at Freddy's fans could be excited to see in this one. Well, I will say there's one FNAF character that we have not yet revealed in any of the teasers or trailers, so that's something to look forward to. So get ready. There's somebody that you don't know about. Actually, that's a great one, yeah.
Alright Slurpheads, it's speculation time. Who could it be? Springtrap? Given the movie's vibe, many are betting on a sneaky end credit scene with Lillard's Spring Bonnie going full Springtrap during the infamous Springlock scene. How many times did I just say spring there? But don't count out Balloon Boy. A while back, IMDb might have spilled the beans, hinting at Dylan Horner voicing our floaty friend. Plus, a certain movie trailer sneakily showcased Piper Rubio's Abby eyeing a doodle of Balloon Boy himself. And our wildcard? The puppet. While a long shot, rumours are swirling. Some juicy gossip even hints at Jane Wheeler doubling up for the voice and mocap for this elusive entity. It's all guesswork right now, but what do you think? You got a theory? Spill those beans down in the comments below. With the cast holding their picket signs tight, our FNAF movie press tour is now riding on Emma Tammy and Jason Blum. And let me tell ya, just as we are about to hit the record button, IGN goes ahead and drops a killer interview with Tammy. Now, you probably remember us talking about those cheeky animatronics acting up on set a few weeks back, right? Well, Tammy dished out a new fiery tale. Quite literally.
We were rolling and I heard someone quietly and calmly say, "Foxy's arm is on fire." And I looked over and one of the servos had been going for quite some time and it overheated, which happens sometimes. But this was actually the only time it happened on set. And it just started smoking and everyone calmly like walked away. We put it out and switched out the arm. But yeah, it was, they were live robotic elements at play and you know, sometimes they only have a certain amount of time that they can operate without.
But there's more. Our ever-curious minds have been pondering over the timeline of the FNAF movie for a while now. When will it take place? Well, Emma Tammy finally puts an end to our wild guesses. Roll the clip.
The film is set in the year 2000, and we're flashing back to 80s and 90s eras, and I think we wanted to, I particularly and Scott wanted to pay homage to those time periods and the way that movies were made back then. And
was anyone else dead set on the 90s? Because same. But a 2000 setting, well, I'm kind of here for it. While those tidbits are juicy highlights, trust me when I say the whole interview is a must watch. Fancy a deep dive? Check out the full interview in the description down below. And there you have it, Slurp heads, the thrilling conclusion to our Five Nights at Freddy's behind the scenes mega compilation, from pre-production to the final week before the movie's release. We're grateful for your support and enthusiasm, which has inspired us to bring you engaging and informative content.
Throughout this journey, we've witnessed the dedication, creativity, and passion that brought the world of Five Nights at Freddy's to life on the big screen.
Your love for Five Nights at Freddy's has motivated us to dig deeper, uncover secrets, and share the excitement with you.
If after the movie's release, stay subscribed for more updates, trailers, and news.
That's right. I've been Connor for Slurp.
And I'm Aiden.
And we'll see you after the movie has been released.
This the anthem. If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. Yeah, this the anthem. If you get up and get it, put your hands up. Yeah.